What's going on, fellow A-Plusers? It is I, your Morphinominal host, as always, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new episode of A-Plus Morphinominal, your weekly stop for your Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Ultraman news and reviews right here over on our YouTube page, streaming live for you guys today, as well as over on our Facebook page. So thank you very much, guys, for certainly joining us here. Happy Saturday. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic weekend as we're here to go ahead and break down this week's news and reviews in regards to Power Rangers. We got a couple of great topics that we're going to be talking about today. Obviously, we're going to be finally wrapping up Dino Fury for you guys today. Season 2, episode number 11, The Copycat. We're hitting you guys with our review. We're also going to be getting into some 30th anniversary information that wind up dropping, I think it was the week prior, since we didn't have an episode of A Plus More Phenomenal last weekend. We got some Power Rangers that are in hot water in regards to ASJ. We'll certainly talk about that. We got Power Morphicon to certainly look forward to with some amazing guest announcements this past week. And of course, some tokusatsu news along with your guys' live viewer questions. So it should certainly be a packed episode here today and one that I'm really, really looking for. So thank you very much, guys, for everybody that certainly joined here today. A couple things right off the top. I do want to let everybody know for as far as channel updates go, I do want to go ahead and bring to everybody's attention that not today, but next Saturday will in fact be the last episode of A Plus More Phenomenal. I had plans on that being this week's episode, but you know, I really decided, especially with just looking at all the live viewer questions that I certainly still have in my email, I decided next week, I think what I'm going to do, and I would almost suggest, please don't send in any more live viewer questions at this point. I got like 60 emails to certainly still go through. But what I would like to do is next week, aside from news, if there is any to certainly talk about, I really want to go ahead and just spend majority of next week's episode answering your guys' live viewer questions. I really want to be able to give some time for you guys to shine, just based off of how long we've been doing YouTube in general, the continued growth here of A Plus More Phenomenal, regardless of us no longer being around here within the next week or so. You know, we honestly wouldn't have been able to get to this particular point without your guys' continued support on a weekly basis. And so as much as I certainly do my best to be a great steward for the Ranger community and things like that, Ranger Nation, really do my best to try and be as open and honest with you guys, share my opinions with you, and give you guys certainly a voice and an opportunity to share your opinions, and really give us a community where people could certainly respect each other regardless of, you know, the differences of opinions. I honestly would not have been able to build all this up without you guys. So if there is any way that I honestly want to share my last day, it's definitely giving back to you guys. And so not today, but next weekend, we will, in fact, have our last episode of A Plus More Phenomenal. We will go through any news that might drop, but the main focus will, in fact, be live viewer questions for you guys next weekend. And that's how we'll go out when it comes to A Plus More Phenomenal. If anything, like looking at my emails right now, yeah, I've got 62 emails in my account. So there's plenty of content to certainly go through and answer questions, and find myself rather busy. We will get to live viewer questions towards the end of this episode also, and tackle some things from a couple of weeks back. But yeah, next week, if anything, we certainly will put a lot of that time towards you guys. So thank you very much, everybody, for certainly continuing to join me. And if anything, again, while we may not have A Plus More Phenomenal here for very long, I still will, in fact, be providing Power Ranger content. We do have another YouTube channel that we are highly focusing on right now as well, called A Plus Hero Report. There is a link in the description box below if you do want to go ahead and continue to follow my thoughts, not only on Power Rangers, but other things too, movies, television, Marvel, DC. Go ahead and follow the link in the description box below, and certainly subscribe to A Plus Hero Report. And in the meantime, listen, if you guys are YouTube content creators out there, I have been doing my part in regards to collaborating with quite a few people. And so, if anything, later on this afternoon, I believe there is an episode of The Illuminati that drops about 2 p.m. Central Time for you guys today, that I'm actually going to be on. So, I got the opportunity to sit down with Joe Deckelmeyer from The Illuminati, good old Jin Saku as well, one of the recent Power Rangers leakers, even Dan from the fan club. We got the opportunity to sit down and talk some Power Rangers and have a fantastic time earlier on this week. So we're going to go ahead and drop that for you guys at 2 o'clock on the Illuminati. So certainly go ahead and check it out. But yeah, if you guys are YouTube content creators out there, just because I don't have my own Power Ranger channel anymore, I would certainly still love to collaborate. If you guys have any suggestions on anything, so definitely go ahead and reach out to me if that's the case in the future. But yeah, other than that, you can definitely find me on Aplus Hero Report moving forward after next week. So guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. This week has been extremely busy. The past couple of weeks have been extremely busy. I've found myself falling behind just because I've been playing hostess to not only my mom, but then also my uncle as of last week. So my Don Brothers reviews are behind. I think I'm about 2 or 3 episodes behind right now. I do plan on catching up to Don Brothers, so certainly don't worry about that. So yeah, just be patient with me as my life finally starts to become normal again, if you will. So I'll definitely work on that for you guys also. And then also, I think this past week, literally, I just got the opportunity to watch episode 11 today. It was one of those things I tried to watch it all week long. It was just really difficult to find some spare time, honestly. But I did get the opportunity to go ahead and check out episode number 11 of the 2nd season of Dino Fury. So let's go ahead and kick off this week's episode and get into it. Oh, before I do, I got to give some shout outs, people. Got to give some shout outs. We got Jordan in the house. He says, if this is indeed the last episode of A Plus Morphinominal, I just want to say thanks, Adam. I found the channel in 2018 when I was in a very dark place, and I found you. And this is in my time of loneliness. It's 2022 now. I'm very happy, but I do have to shout out you and this show for definitely being a part of helping me and probably so many others out there, and just the power that this show has. You know, Jordan, thank you, man. Thank you for those incredible words and those touching words. You know, being a part of this YouTube community, you know, you never know the lives that you touch. Like for me, I never really got into this to affect people outside of just giving my opinion on things. But the one thing that I've learned as I've been in this type of medium for 10 years now, if not a little bit longer, it feels like 10 years, is the impact that you don't see that you certainly have on people, you know. And so Jordan, I'm so glad that I could have been that person for you, man, and really helped you out through the dark times. So thank you very much for certainly sharing that with me, man. But trust me when I say I certainly couldn't be here without you and everybody else's support. So thank you very much, Jordan. That really means a lot to me, man. We got Francois in the house. Changing the tone of this episode up. We got good old Suck My Balls is certainly back. Good to see you in here, man. We got John Schuyler in the house today. Good old Adam Perea. Ibase is certainly in the house too. Good old Kurt Marino. He says it's finally Saturday. Yeah, man. I look forward to Saturdays also for sure. Not just to talk Power Rangers, but I need that weekend. You know what I mean? Who we got? Roberto in the house. Good old Danny is here as well. Thank you very much. I just finished the 11th episode. Hey, man. Me too. Incredible 2nd season so far. I love this series. I could not agree with you more, Danny, for sure. Good old Nicole Robertson's in the house. Harka is here as well. Ram Jam, my boy, he's been around forever as well with us too. We got Enrique Perez in here as well. He says, I just watched the Zenkaiger Kiramager Zenpaiger film, and it's amazing. The Karameki Zenkaizu gear for Zenkaiger and Tukaiger new form is epic. Also, I saw some scans for Revi's ultimate form. I still have yet to check out that movie. I definitely have to go ahead and certainly do so, Enrique. We got Frankie in the house. Good old Adrian Perez is in here as well. And you know, Frankie, you said Happy Memorial Day. I almost forgot that I have on work on Monday because of the holiday. My ass was going to be the only person in the office if that's the case. I almost was ready to go to work this Monday. Good old Jack Daniels in the house, man. You can't get enough Jack. Don't matter what time of day it is. Good old Tarek in the house. Morgan certainly joining us today. Thank you very much, Morgan. Michael Rhymes is in here. Good old Chris Cross is back. Everybody clap your hands due to Chris Cross. Yeah, wear your clothes backwards, y'all. We got Jericho Gonzalez in the house. Gabriel joining us today. Good old Carlo. What's up, man? Thank you very much for certainly coming through. We got Carter Matthews here showing some love. Blossom, thank you very much, L'Oreal, for certainly being here. Who else we got, man? We got a lot of people to shout out today. Edward Sanchez Productions is in the house. My boy Doomsday is certainly coming through. JB says, what? Is here also. Nicole says, oh my God, I can't believe this is your final episode. I got one more episode. Next week is going to be my final episode for Aplus Morphinominal. She says, I still feel like I'm a newbie. You are certainly still a newbie around here, Nicole, but trust me when I say we accept newbies into our fold and into our family anytime. So thank you very much. Jordan says, guess you can save my paragraph for next week. Hey, man, I appreciate it whenever you dropped it, Jordan. So thank you very much, man. Video DVD is in the house today. Thank you. We got Datilla in the house. Good old Sarav is certainly joining us. Marcelino Vasquez, thank you very much. He says, hopefully you finish Supergirl. I hope I do too at some point in time, man. I will get to it. I will get to it. Let's see here. Who else we got? Midwest is certainly in the house. All right. I think that's everybody for us here today. Gabriel says, please put timestamps. I always put timestamps. It just may not be directly after the show, but timestamps will always certainly be on here at some particular point in time. All right, guys. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and transition into our topics and our discussion this week. And you know, we love to kick off with some Dino Fury reviews as Dino Fury just continues to get better and better and better. And we haven't even gotten into the last half of season 2 of Dino Fury. And the momentum for this show just honestly continues to build and build and build. And I really loved what we wind up seeing here in this week's episode. Again, I literally just finished watching it maybe like 20 minutes before I wind up certainly going live with you guys today, as we're going to go ahead and discuss the Copycat and what was a really surprising, I don't want to say surprisingly good episode, but I had no idea what I was walking into when I went into this particular episode to see like how it was going to end or what the main storyline was going to be. First and foremost, though, I do want to pat myself on the back real quick in regards to predicting the idea of Void Queen utilizing the Sporex beast to use that power and that energy inside of Tarek, right? The fact that we've seen him trapped in the same mechanism that Santora certainly was before she became Void Queen. One of the things that came to my mind was like, hey, if she really wants to eliminate this dude, just, you know, pump all that Sporex energy into him and see exactly what he transforms into. And Tarek has, in fact, wind up turning into Void King, most notably known from Real Soldier as Precious, if I'm not mistaken. So really great development in regards to his character. There is a little bit more I kind of wanted to see. Again, there's more backstory between Void King and Void Queen that I feel like we need to know. And I am curious if that's coming in the second season. I would have liked to have seen Tarek a little bit more in his human form, maybe sticking around a little bit longer when it comes to Dino Fury to maybe explain himself or whatever the case may be. But if this is the route that they're certainly going, I will definitely take it, because I got to be honest with you, this episode and its focus on such original footage was incredible to certainly watch. For me, I don't even know where the original footage began and where the Super Sentai footage ended. If there really was any Sentai footage in here, I feel like it was probably pretty minuscule, maybe like 2-3%, if that. The fact that we had such great shots of the Dino Knight armor, along with, I mean, there's so many fantastic poses and great camera angles in here that I was really impressed with. And even seeing the Santora, not the Santora suit, the Precious suit, I'm kind of curious if they did any reworking on this suit, if this suit is a new, more original suit, or if this is exactly the same one that they used on set for Real Soldier, because it does seem like there are maybe a little bit of differences here. Like, I feel like I don't recall the abs so much noticeable on Precious as I did in Real Soldier when it comes to the bodysuit. So it feels very much like there have been some modifications or maybe some changes to this costume. So I don't know if this costume is an all original costume and they kind of pieced it back together, or if this is the same suit from Real Soldier. But I will say, in original footage, it looks incredible. I mean, I absolutely love getting an opportunity to see Zato step up once again as the leader and go ahead and take this battle into his hands, coming up with a great plan after he gets his ass beat to go ahead and get trained with do some training with Javi to certainly help him out to go ahead and take out Void Knight the second time around. The action in here was just absolutely incredible. There's a great shot in here too when we get the opportunity to see Zato uppercutting Void King, and the camera angle follows him in the air as he flips and then lands back on the ground as the camera follows him back down. Some really cool and innovative shots that I don't feel like we've seen very often when it comes to Power Rangers. Like, even the attack that we had of Void King trying to attack Zato with his ability at the end, when we do see Zato kind of duck backwards, and you see Void King over him doing the corkscrew spin or whatever the name of the attack was, and we get that close-up shot of his visor and you see the reflection of the attack. That feels like that's brand new. I don't recall seeing that in Real Soldier, but I could absolutely be wrong at the end of the day when it comes to that. But I really love what we wind up seeing, honestly. It is one of those things where they continue to push forward. If there is any opportunity for Simon Bennett to definitely come back, just seeing some of the steps that he's taken in regards to making Power Rangers unique and different once again, I really love it, man. I really love it. So this episode had everything that I could certainly ask for, and I'm actually even surprised. I don't want to say I'm surprised, because I think somebody might have asked me in a live viewer question once, do you think anybody else will get the opportunity to wear the Dino Knight armor? I can't remember what I said, though. I can't remember if I said yes or no, because I've always been under the impression that the Dino Knight armor would be sort of like a battleizer for Zato, and maybe some people still look at it in that way. But for some reason, now that I see Javi rocking it, which, mind you, it looks great on Javi, I don't even know if I want to call it a battleizer so much as just a power up that anybody can certainly wear at that point in time. I just always see battleizers as solely for Red Rangers. Now, if I'm wrong in having that assumption or having that mindset, please go ahead and let me know in the comment section. But the fact that we got to see Javi in it, take my money, man. I need me now an action figure where I can go ahead and put that armor onto a Javi figure, if that is in fact the case, to be able to swap it out with anybody that I certainly want to. I think it's pretty cool, and it actually worked out extremely well. Pretty cool scene to be able to see the teammates fighting against each other, or I should say training, if you will, to help Zato get that upper hand. And if anything, just the bond that we got between Zato and Javi in here was great. Like, I love seeing the leader compliment Javi as much as he did in here, thanking him not only for the training, but saying, hey, man, you're a great knight. You know what I mean? Like, really giving him props and showing that Javi at some point in time could probably jump into the leadership role if he certainly wants to, maybe a second in command or whatever the case may be. I think, if anything, it just elevates maybe not how I see Javi, but I think it just certainly elevates the character a little bit more, to certainly have somebody like Zato congratulate you and have big things to certainly say about you, especially after this particular week's episode. So really great stuff, man. When we wind up getting here between Tarek and Zato, and the great new costume designs, great action, incredible original footage also. I will say, in regards to storyline purposes, for the Copycat here, this week we had the Songathon over at Buzz Blast, where I believe Jane said it was like people from around the area. I don't know if it was a talent show or a musical show or whatever the case may be, but clearly anybody was able to certainly go ahead and enter this. As I think the first person up there was Pop Pop, which was fantastic. It does make me wonder if the actor that plays Pop Pop really does play the violin. because Jane really does tap dance. Um, Javi does, Chance Perez does play the instruments in real life. He's a musical artist. I do wonder if the actor that plays Pop Pop plays the violin, if that's him really playing up there from time to time. A great comedic aspects in this week's episode, things that I really did get a great chuckle at, honestly. But you know what? The return of Blair is honestly what surprised me. And the return of Blair, I just thought to myself, hey, you know what? Every season needs a Megan. You know what I'm saying? Like, for some reason, I just got Megan vibes from Beast Morphers of like, up here comes this jerk once again that's ready to go ahead and just ruin it for everybody. We've seen him do this once before, when Chance had to go ahead and replace their guitarist earlier in the season. We knew Blair was a jerk back then, but this is like full on jerkish Blair in this episode. And for some reason, it made me immediately go back to Megan from Beast Morphers. Maybe not as corrupt as Megan. I mean, look, Megan did at least turn her cheek and actually became one of the good guys by that season. But now, once a Megan, always a Megan when it comes to Blair this episode, who apparently winds up stealing Javi's song by maybe listening to him around town sing it while Javi was certainly practicing, and he winds up entering the talent show in here, or the songathon, with Javi's song. And it's not really until the judges, I think the judges give Javi like 2 days to come up with a brand new song or something like that to present to them instead, which is kind of fucked up if you ask me. I would have told both of them, like, hey, if you're copying each other's songs, both of you guys go your separate ways and come back in 2 days and figure something out, instead of just giving this man Javi's song to certainly go ahead and perform. But I really love the reaction of everybody. Like, everybody was truly pissed. Like, Izzy was pissed. Even Amelia was pissed, and it makes me feel like Izzy's maybe even rubbing off on Amelia a little bit, especially towards the end when Javi completes his song. Like, Amelia looking at the guy and he's like, yeah, like really gloating in his face, sort of thing. I definitely think Izzy rubs off on Amelia just a little bit, but definitely standing up for their friend. But I thought it was actually a pretty cool twist on things for him. I was kind of hoping Javi would come out with a brand new song, but the idea of being able to juggle different instruments while you're performing the same song, that's pretty damn talented. That's pretty damn talented. I mean, he went from his guitar to his guitar to his bass to a harmonica back to his guitar once again to go ahead and wrap up, and he's got a much better voice than Blair anyway, so Blair just did not stand a chance when it comes to this, and Javi winds up being the winner. What did make me laugh, and honestly what really made me bust out laughing by the end of this episode, was truly the bandwagon fan that Warden Garcia has become. I mean, literally, like 3-4 episodes ago, this man could not stand the fact that Javi knew so many instruments, wanted to get into music, felt like his son had like no direction in his life. And now he's like his biggest fan, his biggest supporter, holding the trophy, taking photos like he won, sort of thing, right? I mean, I was like, Warden, get your ass out of here, man. It definitely made me laugh. It was just such a hilarious moment. But look, I'd rather have that moment than the idea of a father really rejecting his son and giving his son a hard time for trying to discover his talents and the things that he honestly loves. And so to finally have Warden Garcia supporting his son, absolutely amazing. Even seeing Izzy talk about that's my brother, like, it gave me goosebumps, man. Like, I really love seeing the support that everybody gives. And I will say this about this half of season 2, this has definitely been a talent showcase this season, I think. I mean, all the times that Buzz Blast has had like a brand new feature or something like that, where one of our Rangers have had the opportunity to perform for Buzz Blast or for a group of people, this half of while season 1 was very filler, character growth sort of thing, the first half of season 2 feels very more talent showcase, if you will, with some great build-up storyline wise. And I'm really hoping for the second half of this to just be an all-out action and just be an all-out focus. Kind of what I felt like season 2 or the second half of season 2 of Beast Morphers was, where it really felt like it became a very focused storyline. It knew what it wanted to be, and it just transitioned into each episode extremely well until we wind up getting itself to the finale. So I think the buildup has been there all season long. They've done an incredible job, and I cannot wait to see what the second half has in store for us, especially now that we've got not only Void Queen, but Void King. And then we still have Lord Zed to certainly look forward to, which I do expect that we're going to get this season simply because of the fact that that's the reason why we've got the Gold Ranger in the first place. I think it's the Green Morphing Master that said literally, we're bringing you back because we need your power to take down Lord Zed or something along those lines. So I do expect there to be some formidable foes, 3 massive villains for them to go ahead and take care of within 11 additional episodes. I think that's plenty of time to certainly go ahead and break it down if you do so properly and give everything a certain amount of time. But considering the fact that we have a transformation now with Tarek into Void King, now we've got ourselves some brand new villains to really enjoy. And I would be interested to kind of see how the Rangers reach out to him. You know, do they try and appease to, I don't want to say the human side of Tarek, but, you know, that other side of Tarek that really was trying to help them? Or is he sort of completely gone at this particular point in time? So I will be interested to kind of see how that winds up turning out. But great humor in here, great showcase of talent, some great character work, and amazing action. And I cannot wait to see what else we have in store. Even the opportunity of seeing Mucus in here. For a second there, I'm not going to lie, I thought Belair, because of the blue streak in his hair, I thought he was going to surprise us and actually turn out to be not Scraw. I was going to say Scrozzle. Why am I Slither? And then but he didn't turn out to be that. In fact, we actually saw him pop up with Wreckmate at the end when Mucus was in fact performing. I was really hoping that Mucus would have shown up and given us like an entire stage show. But I feel like she kind of already did inside of Area 62 when they had the disco ball. I can't remember if that was season 1 or earlier in season 2 where she's dancing and stuff and performing. So Mucus definitely has the talent. I was kind of hoping for another one here in this episode, but instead they kind of cut it short for us. But if there is one stage production I need to see, I don't know how Dino Fury is going to pull this off, but I need this in my life. Real Soldier had an episode where it was the Dino, or it was the Real Soldier Rangers facing off against Slither, you know, as they start chopping down the generals before they get to the main boss in the Super Sentai seasons. Slither's in the Real Soldier was very much like a stage production, just based off of how much of a performer he is. It was literally like you were watching a play and a performance kind of put on. So you had the lighting, the wires, so that you literally can see the wires for some of the wire work tricks and stuff. I would love to see that transition beautifully into Dino Fury if possible. I need that in my life, because the way that Campbell Cooley voices this character, I think he would put on a performance for the ages. So I'm really hoping that in season 2 we certainly get that at some point in time. But listen, guys, again, these are just simply my A+ opinions. At the end of the day, I want to know yours, though. What did you guys think about this particular episode? If there's anything that I missed, though, please go ahead and certainly let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. With that, guys, I think we will jump into your comments. So let's go ahead and get into some of your discussions and seeing what some of you guys are saying. Let's see here. A shout out also to Tony Robinson for certainly coming through. We got Carter. He says, Void King beating the Rangers, force him to demorph. Reminds me when Rancic brutally injured the Rangers during Time Force finale and Dino Thunder when Trent first came out as the evil White Ranger. Yeah, Void King wasn't playing around, man. The power set of him is pretty ridiculous. I did love the shot too of when he attacks Amelia, the Pink Ranger. There's a great shot of her flying into the camera before she actually hits the wall. I thought that was actually pretty neat. And then to see them all collapse and demorph. The only two that didn't were Zato and Javi, if I'm not mistaken, before they decided to go ahead and certainly work together. But yeah, Void King certainly showed his power in here. Blossom says, I was afraid of Void King was going to be a Tokuger monster taken again. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I kind of dig it. I kind of dig this idea, though. We were trying to figure out how this Precious character fit into things. Very early on in the season, we were under the impression that it was going to be Santora that might turn into Precious. But once we wind up seeing the Madame Noir costume, that's when my focus really started changing. I'm thinking, like, she's not going to be Precious. I definitely do think she's going to turn into Madame Noir, which she did. And seeing how that ability for the Sporks turned her into that, the fact that I was able to go ahead and predict that he was going to turn into a Void King, I really love that storyline. I really love the way that that was certainly handled. Instead of technically killing him off, sort of thing, now we've got Void Queen bringing him into her fold when it was just literally the other way around. So I really enjoyed that. Tarek says, I absolutely love that the footage of Master Red using the Max Real Soul was given the hobby. This literally made Dino Knight armor versatile for the other Rangers to use. That's so unique. Absolutely love that footage of Master Red using the Max Real Soul. Was see, I didn't even remember that from Real Soldier. I thought that was all original footage because it looked so fantastic. But thanks for bringing that up, Tarek, for sure. Doomsday says this episode is really awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this episode. Marcelino says utilizing the Precious suit for Void King was a great way to write around the Sentai footage. Absolutely, great way to integrate a storyline, and that really makes sense. I think Simon Bennett and the writers have done a fantastic job. Tarek says just me, but I love that Dino Fury episode 11 of season 2. We had 2 character arcs from previous episodes with Javi and Zato for this episode. Enrique also says, I hope the second half of Dino Fury Season 2 might be revealed at Power Morphicon. Interesting, along with the 30th anniversary season with the cast. Can't wait to see Roya from Go Kaijo. We'll talk about Power Morphicon here in just a little bit, but I would be interested to see when they would reveal the second half. I've been kind of predicting that the second half would come in August, but based off of Power Morphicon really being at the very tail end, there is a part of me that wonders if maybe season 2 will drop in September, with us giving us the opportunity to maybe get ourselves a little bit of a trailer at Power Morphicon. Maybe a glimpse into what we can certainly expect. So maybe we do get ourselves a second half of Dino Fury season 2 revealed at Power Morphicon. But if anything, I do wonder if that means it would drop either that same weekend as Power Morphicon or maybe the week after. But we'll definitely keep our eyes peeled for any big announcements for sure. Adam says the confrontation of Javi and Blair during the Songathon was crazy. Yeah, it was pretty intense, man. It was pretty intense. Like the fact that Javi, and just based off of his character work that we've seen all season, it kind of surprised me that Javi, like I would expect Izzy to do something like that, but the fact that Javi like literally stopped the performance in the middle, like, hey, no, we cannot continue along with this at all, guys. Like this is just wrong. And everybody really standing up to Javi's defense. Yeah, it did get pretty intense, man, and it certainly shocked me, Adam. I definitely agree with you. Common Rider in the house. What's up, Common Rider? Good old Blossom, loving her some Javi. Says, sorry to swear, but Javi look like a sexy badass when using that thing. I'm assuming using his guitar, his keytar, I should say, his bass and his harmonica. I've always wanted to learn how to play the harmonica. No joke. Like I am a closet like blues and jazz fan, and I've always wanted to learn how to play the harmonica. Gabriel says, I'm still considering it a battleizer, just more flexible. I've always wanted someone else to utilize a Red Ranger's battleizer, and we actually got it for the first time in PR. Love it, absolutely. Yeah, it floored me, man. It floored me. I was like, Javi, you're about to wear this thing? It shouldn't surprise me just based off of the fact that we have seen original footage of Rangers wearing battle armors that they haven't worn in Real Soldier before. The first one that comes to mind is Amelia with the blazing armor. Um, and so to be able to see somebody else utilizing the Dino Knight armor shouldn't surprise me. It honestly shouldn't surprise me. Doomsday says, for me, even though Javi wore the Dino Knight armor, it was only when he was helping Zeta with the new strategy. The armor is still solely a battleizer for the Red Ranger and not a power up. I get it. I get it. I can understand where you guys are coming from. I kind of see it that way now that you guys are kind of breaking it down a little bit. Marcelino says battleizer means bigger and bulky armor. Literally any ranger color can use battleizers. Lightspeed Rescue had battleizers for blue, green, and red. Samurai gave all their ranges. I guess I did kind of give them all battleizers too in Samurai. You guys make some good points there. Let's see here. Blossom says, I got to admit, Pop Pop was kind of funny with the violin. Me too. I'm like, man, this Pop Pop just keeps popping up everywhere. Like he literally continues to be a fantastic sort of side character this season, a great supporting character. Adam Perea says, "Oh man, I absolutely love the final scene when Javi was playing. I do really think it was Chance himself playing. I got to check out his interview with the guy from the Illuminati. Yeah, I think Joe, I believe, did a fantastic interview. I think with Zato, or I should say with Russell and Chance, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, it was a great scene. I love getting an opportunity to see Chance Perez showcase his talent, but I do think that was him too, playing all those instruments. Jericho says, I love that the three judges use the same first names as Simon Bennett and the writers. Cool nods. I didn't even pick up on that, Jericho. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. The lady judge was a total B when her name was credited as Mean Judge in the end credits. Yeah, she had that scowl on her face like the entire time, even when the poor violin thing like went through her cowboy hat. I didn't even pick up on that, Jericho, but that's fantastic. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention, man. Doomsday says Javier is one talented Power Ranger. Props to Chance Perez for playing this role. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Chris Crossman says Warden Garcia really changed his view on Hobby. No joke. Homeboy taking selfies with the trophy like it's his. Like, wait a minute, brother. You were just what? That's pure definition of bandwagon fan right there. Let's see here. Oh, Adrian, he says, Dear God, Ollie trying to sing in the beginning. I'm glad Amelia told him, yeah, singing is not your thing. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Seeing Ollie try and hit those notes like, hey, man, act like he's some Brian McKnight over here. Like, chill out, Cisco, relax. But yeah, Ollie tried. Ollie tried and unfortunately, unfortunately failed. Oh, man, that did make me laugh. There were some great moments in this episode. Abase says, "Well, I'm a big fan of Jane and Jay Borg. I something they didn't really have a role in this episode, only as an announcer and host of Songathon. Yeah, they did. You know, they don't pop up everywhere. You know, they definitely have taken a break. I think, especially like the last half of the first season. They really took a break from being on the show. I believe they were on their vacation, if I'm not mistaken. So we didn't really get the opportunity to see them. So they're definitely not utilized all the time. So I don't mind when they kind of come in and out. If you ask me, it worked for me in this episode. Blossom says Blair can't be Slither. One, Slither has horrible fashion sense, and then two, Slither overreacts when he's in disguise. Absolutely. But I was just thinking to myself, like, well, who would be that much of a jerk to do something like that or to pull something off? And for some reason, my mind did go to Slither when I thought of it. But then I was just like, you know what? It is Blair. He is just another Megan, so it shouldn't surprise me. Video DVD says Void King sure looks like a real menace to the Rangers. I can't wait to see how this will end. And Bird Selling did it once again. Yeah, I totally agree. The music when Zato and Javier training was amazing. Yeah, man, he really carries the emotion of this series with his music. He really does. Sarav says Void Knight kicking ass wasn't that big of a surprise, but that was still intimidating. And I would have liked Javi to have his touch added to the armor. It looked kind of off putting to me on him. I kind of like the added black to the silver and red and sort of yellow highlights that the armor has. It worked for me, but I can understand. I can understand where you're coming from, Sarav. Tarek says, I absolutely love the look of Dino Knight armor and some brand new footage. I gave this episode a huge 1,000 out of 1,000. Let's see here. So Rob says, does anyone else think Slither will switch sides? I expect Mucus to probably do so, but you know, I think if you've probably if you have watched Rio Soldier, you might have a sense of where things are going. But who knows? Leave it up to Simon Bennett and the writers to maybe switch things around on us. Who certainly knows? You might be onto something, Rob. We'll see. John Schuyler says that machine that the Rangers were recovering from their injuries was recycled from the 25th anniversary where the Rangers were being cloned. Oh, that's right. When they were strapped to the tables and they had like the brainwashing or the mind controlling thing, whatever was putting them to sleep, sort of thing. Oh, those were the same props, huh? Good eye, John. Good eye. Tony says, Adam, how would you feel if they got the split emitters to separate Tarek from Void Queen? Void King, that would be pretty legit. Maybe that's something they could pick up at Grid Battle Force. Maybe that'd be pretty cool. Great way to save them for sure. Give us a nice happy ending without having to kill some people off. Kurt says, huge fan of this episode, Adam. I absolutely love the music in this episode of Blair and Javi both doing the same song, just like in real life. Musicians do copy others' ideas. Oh, absolutely, man. Sometimes you'll even hear samples of other people's songs within new artists' songs, sort of thing. You know, they do say that copying is the biggest form of flattery, right, or something like that. Or just you're just stealing. I have no idea, but yeah, Javi certainly did feel some type of way about that. Jack Daniel says, I love Jared Turner's dialogue in this episode as Void King. You can tell how much fun he's having. His voice was just awesome. Yeah, I really did love his voice in here also. He definitely seems like he's having fun. I certainly will agree with you there, Jack. Blossom says this episode is totally A plus material. It's as plain as the mismatched shoes on my feet. And yeah, I mismatch my shoes. Hey, you know, I think that's actually pretty cool. I see a lot of people mismatch their socks, and I've always said you gotta mismatch the shoes, man. That's the real key. Let's see here. Danny says, according to Ranger Wiki, the song Pop Pop played with the violin was a real song in real life. Oh, interesting. I didn't even know that. We got good old Coder Nerd in here. Thank you very much for certainly coming through, Coder. Who else we got? DHR2 in the house. He said, Pops had me dying in the talent show. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love Amelia still giving her Pop Pop encouragement. Go on, continue with it. Let's go. You got this, Pop Pop. Poor guy popping balloons. Who was the lame joke? I guess that's why they call him Pop Pop. Like, what? But yeah, it was pretty funny, DHR. I'll definitely give you that, man, for sure. All right, guys. Other than that, I think that will do it for some of our comments in regards to this week's episode of Dino Fury. A fantastic one to certainly say the least. I thought people were, I will say this. I thought that I heard mention that episode 11 wind up leaving in a bit of a cliffhanger. It didn't feel like a cliffhanger to me with Warden Garcia taking a picture. I was thinking to myself, did I miss an end credit scene somewhere? I mean, the fact that we do have Void King and Queen out there in the world that we still have to deal with, along with not Zordon, a Lord with Lord Zed. Season 2 is looking to be pretty intense and pretty amazing. We still have the cameo from Commander Shaw that's supposed to be happening in season 2. I am expecting if anything, I would probably assume the Lord Zed appearance is probably connected more to an appearance of Commander Shaw. We'll see how that certainly turns out. And I do think that they will do a fantastic job in wrapping up Void King and Void Queen to the point to where it kind of makes me wonder, like, will they team up with Lord Zed, or is this a case of the Rangers having villains on two fronts, two different fronts that they certainly have to go ahead and take down? It would be pretty intimidating if these two were to team up with Lord Zed. We'll see what Simon Bennett and the rest of the cast and crew certainly have in store for us for the second half. But some big things are certainly coming. People have gotten a lot more powerful, to certainly say the least. And so, yeah, I'm definitely expecting this to be a fantastic send-off for Dino Fury. But guys, again, let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. All right, guys. So thank you very much for joining us for that. We kind of got a couple other topics for you guys today. I will go ahead and get into some older news. Wait, did I drop a topic? Hold on a second. Did I not post something? Hold on. I thought I had me an overlay ready, and I'm looking at it. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I think I'm missing a story. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Next up, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get into another topic for you guys today. And this is in regards to Power Rangers upcoming 30th anniversary, as we certainly have a lot to look forward to next year, guys. This actually comes to us from the Illuminati. I believe this is an article. Let me just double check here. This was from the 19th of May. So this was actually an article we were probably supposed to talk about last weekend, but we certainly did not get the opportunity to do so. So this dropped not this past Thursday, but the previous Thursday from the Illuminati, giving us a little bit more insight in regards to new story details for the upcoming, it says, reunion special, along with the 30th anniversary. So we're in the process now of trying to sort of parse through the information and really see what info belongs on, like, what show it feels like. Like, is this for the reunion special, or is this for the 30th anniversary, considering just how close everything is certainly being worked on, to the point to where it almost makes me wonder how connected this all certainly truly is. We've seen the sides for the casting before. The idea of a 4 to 5 or 6 week time period to go ahead and film. And while that's certainly not long enough to film an entire 44 episode season, it does make me wonder if it's long enough to maybe film a reunion special and a few episodes of a 30th anniversary season. I'm not quite sure, but let's go ahead and dive into some of these topics and really see exactly some of the ideas that the Illuminati is throwing around for us to dive into. So let's certainly see what they're saying today. Again, this is from May 19th. Posted by Bryce West. This is an exclusive report saying new details emerge for upcoming reunion special. So it says, with the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers quickly approaching, new details of the upcoming celebration are quickly approaching. Wow, they literally repeated themselves in the first. Who's the editor here? Can I do that? With the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers quickly approaching, new details for the upcoming celebration are quickly approaching. The Illuminati can exclusively reveal some of the plot details for the upcoming reunion special. Warning, this article will contain potential plot details for the 30th anniversary content. So so if you do not wish to be spoiled, please come back at a later date. It says we previously reported that the Power Rangers 44-minute reunion special is being planned with the original cast members being approached to return. Not all of the cast members have signed on as of the writing of this article. So again, they've reached out to all the cast members. They've approached them to return, but not all of the cast members have signed on as of this writing. It does say that alternatively, we also reported that David Yost, who portrays Billy, the Blue Ranger in Mighty Morphin, has signed on to return for the 30th season. However, it is currently unknown if Yost signed on for a full season or just one full appearance. So yes, David Yost is still planning on being in the 30th anniversary. They're unsure if it's for a full season or just a one-off appearance. I would assume if Billy is coming back, he is probably one of the original Rangers that will probably be coming back for the reunion special as well. But we'll see. That he hasn't been confirmed for the reunion special. A reboot of the Power Ranger franchise is currently in development. The 30th anniversary is expected to wrap up the version of the show that began in '93. It is unknown if anything from the current Power Ranger universe will be used. Although the 30th anniversary will be spending a lot of time reminiscing on the past, the show will also be introducing new characters to the franchise. One of those will have a major impact on the upcoming reunion. So, according to this, they believe the 30th anniversary might be coming before the reunion special. It does say here Trini's daughter, Yen, will have a major role in Power Rangers 30th anniversary. It says, thanks to leaked casting details, we know that Hasbro is looking to cast someone who can play a Vietnamese American between the ages of 18 to 23 to Yen, who, according to our sources, is the daughter of the original Ranger, Trini. Trini's actress, Tui Trang, tragically passed away in 2001 in a car accident and was able to reprise her role after her departure in the show's second season. The reunion will honor the legacy of Trang as well as the character of Trini. The Yellow Ranger will be heavily featured on the packaging for the 30th anniversary toys. As of now, specific details, plot details are still under wraps. However, we do know that the returning MMPR Rangers are set to pass down their powers to Yen to become the embodiment of MMPR. Yen will eventually gain a modified version of the MMPR yellow suit that can switch between different colors. So it feels very much like she's getting herself a master morpher or something like that, or something along those lines that allows her to be able to change. So it looks like they're all going to be, is that if I'm listening to it right, it feels very much like they said they're going to pass their powers to Yen to become the embodiment of MMPR. So I do wonder if she's going to have her own unique costume with the ability to change that costume into different colors to represent MMPR. Like, is it going to be an original suit for Yen? Or is this going to be, the same saber-toothed tiger uniform that maybe Trini wore at some particular point in time, and maybe that changes colors however she wants to? I'm not quite sure, but I kind of find that process pretty interesting. We're currently aware of how the reunion special will connect to the 30th season. However, there does seem to be some connection between the two. So yeah, it definitely seems as though there is a connection. I will be curious to see what comes first, the 30th anniversary or um the reunion special. For me, it does kind of feel like when I read this story, if I had to put it in order, there is something pretty cool about the idea of maybe the reunion special happening first, where we get everybody back. We get introduced to Yen. the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers teams give her her abilities or give her the morphing master, whatever the master morpher, and pass down their powers to her, and then maybe she then embarks on her own journey in, say, a 30th anniversary season, winds up meeting a bunch of new characters, and she end up sort of being the leader of that group, and maybe passing those powers on to the other teammates that she winds up bumping into. So I can't see a world in which the reunion special happens first, and then the 30th anniversary. But I am curious how that would work if it's the other way around. If it's a 30th anniversary season and then them jumping into sort of a reunion special. I guess my question would just be, how are we introduced to her in the 30th anniversary? Does she not have her powers yet? If not, how does she acquire her powers and her abilities? And who are the other Rangers? Are these brand new characters? I believe the thing did say brand new characters. Let me just go ahead and double check. Yeah, it does say the show will also be introducing new characters to the franchise. So I do wonder if we're going to be having new characters that will form a new team, or if we're still planning on bringing back some cameos of past Rangers that are forming to then become a brand new team with this Yen character. There's still a lot of details up in the air. Certainly still a lot of rumors and speculation, but we're clearly getting some clarifications in here. And the theories that people had in regards to Yen possibly being Trini's daughter, it feels more and more likely that that is in fact the case. And I really dig it, honestly. Like, if what they're saying certainly does come true, and we get, say, like a 30th anniversary where, the merchandising boxes and stuff have really the Yellow Ranger kind of at the forefront, this would just feel very fitting to me. Like, I know some people probably feel some type of way of maybe Hasbro tackling the death of Trini or whatever the case may be. But maybe they look at it as kind of insensitive if it's a topic that Hasbro wants to go ahead and discuss and tackle as part of a series and storyline. I just don't see it that way. Um, I think if anything, this is a way to honor and pay homage to the character Trini and Twee, just in general. The fact that it hasn't been discussed, that it hasn't been talked about in any show, that it hasn't been brought up. Um, there is a part of me that kind of wants, I don't want to say see Twee get some justice or anything like that, but I do think it's a long time coming, especially for Power Ranger fans that have been around since MMPR. The idea of them tackling it, talking about it again, we don't know exactly what the fate of Trini is in this show. Did she die during battle? Is she still around, but just not on screen? But she's retired, and her daughter is kind of taking the lead of the show. I am kind of curious to see how they'll tackle it, and maybe why, if they really do point out why she's not around. I think it's just a long time coming, and if this is truly going to be the end of this iteration of Power Rangers, better late than never, if you ask me, because I don't want to see Power Rangers turn into something new and the Trini character not get this sort of moment of recognition for herself. You know what I mean? And so, if they can bring the emotions, if they can really make this storyline work by bringing back some of the original OGs, again, not all the OGs are in fact returning according to them. Um, I think this is as good of an honor that you could certainly pay to Twee Trang as anything. As long as they're sensitive enough and come together with a great solid storyline that will pay homage to the Trini character in Twee, then I'm perfectly okay with it. But I kind of dig it, man. I kind of dig it. We've been asking for a female lead. Once again, an Asian lead, perhaps once again, and it feels like we're getting the best of both worlds in the 30th anniversary. So for Power Rangers that continues to do a ton of firsts, it definitely feels like there's no slowing down when it comes to them. And I'm sure we'll probably continue to get more details in regards to the reunion special, along with a 30th anniversary over the next couple of weeks and months and things like that. And we certainly will continue to keep you posted with any updates that we wind up having. Again, if anything, even if we don't tackle it here at A Plus More Phenomenal, since next week will in fact be our last show, you can definitely watch us tackle it over on A Plus Hero Report. You can find the link to that YouTube channel in the description box below, guys. But let me know your thoughts in regards to everything that you're hearing from the Illuma Nerdy these days. And let me see what you guys are saying in the comments section here also. Did I lose a bunch of comments? Okay, there we go. Side comment here. Coda says Hasbro will need to release Pop toys. Yeah, at this point, man, give me your Pop and Dr. Akana toy for sure. Adam says I am sort of having my doubts of Zed returning, but who knows? Anything is possible. Well, I think they referenced him returning in Dino Fury when they said when they told the Gold Ranger they needed his power to go ahead and defeat him. So I'm under the impression that he'll be back. If not, that's cool too. I wouldn't mind Lord Zed surviving this season. Maybe he ends up being the 30th anniversary season villain. I think that would be just as fantastic too. Good old Jinsaku in the house. What's up, Jinsaku? Good to see you, man. Enrique says, is the upcoming 30th anniversary reunion special might be filming soon? I would assume it is filming soon. Yeah, I believe in the let me see. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do I still have the casting sides? I'm trying to remember. Let me look real quick. Let me go to my Dino Fury folder. I can't remember if I kept the casting sides there or if I put them someplace else, because it did have an idea as to like when let me check one other folder. Like they did mention, I believe, when casting was going to take place. I don't have it on me at the moment, but they did have some, not casting but filming. Let me see. Power Rangers casting sites. Okay, here we go. So, damn it, it doesn't say on here, huh? Yeah, it just says those hired perform this season will have to stay in Auckland, New Zealand for a period of 5 to 6 weeks, unlike the traditional seasons that are 8 to 12 months. The casting size that they pulled up, though, I unfortunately can't see. Here, let me go to Twitter here. I don't know why they don't have a good copy of it, because I thought they had the dates specifically on there. Oh, here we go. Current schedule, you're set to depart the US August 20th and come back departing New Zealand September 24th. So that's what I'm assuming, if anything. Approximate a 5-week duration plus ADR requirements up until January of 2023. Must be willing to work in Auckland, New Zealand for approximately 6 weeks. So yeah, August 20th to September 24th should be the filming for this, I'm assuming. Abase says, "Oh, please, really hope Tommy doesn't come back for the 30th anniversary project. I want others to have their time to shine." We'll see who comes back, man. We'll definitely see who comes back. I definitely expect Billy. I definitely expect Amy. After that, I have no idea. I would love to see Walter come back. If I had to pick and choose, I would love to see Walter come back, honestly. Good old Koala. What's up, Koala? Good to see you in here. Blossom says Trini having a daughter, holy moly macaroli, and a master morpher, morphinominal. I will say the master morpher. That's just me speculating. But when they say that Yen might have the ability, if she does become the embodiment of MMPR, to change into multiple colors, that's where I get the Master Morpher suggestion. But they are hinting that the sources are letting them know that Yen is in fact the daughter of Trini. Outside of that, I don't know anything else. Nicole says, I wonder if these past MMPR themselves have their original powers, meaning Jason, Zach, and Trini's. They've always had their original Dino coins before being copied to Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. I remember when Adam came back for In Space, his Mastodon power coin and Morpher was his own. Zach always had his own powers when he left Jason and Trini in season 2. For me, it would be cool. Like, I would love the idea of to say Walter Jones comes back as Zach, but he shows up with his like Omega Ranger costume or something like that, some Omega Ranger powers. I don't think that they would go that far in regards to bringing Boom Studios continuity into Power Rangers, but that would be hella fun to certainly see. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely would have to see how they come back with their abilities, or if there's a new power set, that they've acquired over the years. Doomsday says, I'm low key intrigued on how Yen and the new Yellow Ranger and daughter of Trini will work out. I think for me, Blossom says, however she's introduced, I want to see her. For me, I think I'm going to be really interested to kind of see what the dynamic between daughter and mother was, or if there ever even was one, right? Like, um, I do wonder how long Trini was alive before, if anything certainly happened to her in the Power Ranger universe. Did Yen get the opportunity to grow up with her most of her life? Was her mom taken away from her at a really young time in her life, and she doesn't really know too much about her? And maybe that's where the MMPR Rangers certainly come in to really let Yen know who her mother truly was and what she was truly capable of, sort of thing. I would be interested to kind of see what the dynamic was, and to see, like, does this give inspiration to Yen about who her mom is? Does she get to kind of see her mom in a brand new light and appreciate her a little bit more for what she's done, sort of thing? Or has she always known about her being a superhero and always wanted to kind of be like her mom? I am really interested if that is in fact the route that they're going, of Yen being Trini's mom. There are certain things that I would definitely like to see highlighted. Will they explain what happened with Trini? Is she gone? Is she not? And what's that daughter mother relationship like, if there ever certainly was one? So I think there's some really great potential here. Tony Robinson says, I heard Jezer from the Illuminati make a prediction that Yen is maybe a placeholder, and name and Trini's daughter is maybe Fern. Oh shit, that would be bananas, bro. That would be bananas if Fern actually turns out to be Trini's daughter. That would be crazy. Again, that's just Jezer with his predictions. We'll have to see if that actually turns out to be true or not, if Yen is in fact just a placeholder. I mean, listen, when we do get these casting sides, majority of the time the names on the casting, I don't believe, are the actual names of the characters. So it's a possibility, man. It's definitely a possibility, especially if you're trying to throw fans off the scent. You know what I mean? Tarek says, I actually would love this to actually happen. I hope it's done right. Hasbro actually does their homework and even reaches to MMPR cast and maybe Tweet's family if they can. I do hope that they do it right as well. I really do. And I think, I think the idea of MMPR certainly coming back, some of the OGs, I think based off of their relationship with Twee, Billy, or I don't want to say Billy, but David, Amy, and things like that. Uh, I think they would also want to make sure that Hasbro does it right. And I don't know if they would or wouldn't come back if Hasbro didn't. So I am kind of hoping that what David Yost saw in here got his attention enough and felt it was certainly worthy of a reason to return to the franchise. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Adrian says, if Hasbro does this right and beautifully when it comes to doing a tribute to Trini, this might be the 30th anniversary we've been waiting for, one of the best after Forever Red. For now, I'm keeping my expectations to a balance. And I did go ahead and make a bold prediction that I did think that this was probably going to be one of the better anniversary moments and specials since Forever Red. So I'm right there with you, Adrian. I do hope that they are focused, really came together and put together something special, and pay a great homage and honor to Trini. And I think if they can do that, it might be something special for sure. Morgan says, is there a chance that the new CEO of Hasbro might look into this anniversary and might put his own thoughts, or is he doing other things besides PR? I mean, he's probably got his hands in a bunch of different cookie jars. He's definitely a Dungeons and Dragons guy. But I think based off of how far along the 30th anniversary and reunion special certainly is, it feels like they probably have all their ducks in a row and they're already kind of doing their own production, already doing their own production, getting everything ready. So I'm not expecting any big changes from what's already kind of begun behind the scenes, but you never know, Morgan. You never know. Carter says, "Will these veteran MMPR Rangers even morph, or just see them fight in civilian mode or human form? I hope we see David Yost actually fight unmorphed. That would be pretty cool if we get to see them fight in civilian mode at some point. Again, I don't know how long this reunion special is supposed to be. There's a part of me now that's starting to think that this reunion special is maybe just one episode, like a one episode 44-minute sort of situation, and then the rest of it might end up being like the 30th anniversary season that they're kind of filming also. So there's one of the reasons why I'm kind of curious if they're filming all of this together within that 4 to 5 week period, out in New Zealand beginning at the end of August. So based off of what the article mentioned for the Illuminati, I believe it said the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger 44-minute reunion special. It feels very much like the reunion special is one episode, and then the bigger aspect of it will be the 30th anniversary. Maybe we'll get ourselves further clarification, but just from what I've been reading and the way that they're wording certain things, that's kind of the impression that I'm under right now. Nicole says, I just hope I hope or would love to see in loving memory of Tui Trang as Trini, and maybe some stock footage or photos. That would probably bring me the tears. I can't lie, Nicole. I might have to get my tissues ready if that is in fact the case. All right, guys. Other than that, we will go ahead and wrap up this story before we certainly move on to our next one. So thank you very much, guys, for all your thoughts in regards to the 30th anniversary. And again, as we get further details in regards to it, we certainly will go ahead and keep you guys posted. But while we are certainly waiting more news on the MMPR reunion special, again, the Illuminati did emphasize the idea that cast members, the original OGs, have in fact been reached out to. Not everybody has in fact committed to at least returning as of this point in time. And one of those Rangers, on one hand, who knows what's going to happen with this dude, as Mr. Austin St. John, the original Red Ranger himself, wind up finding himself in some hot water this week, guys. That really took the Ranger Nation by storm. Really came as a surprise, to the point to where, this picked up a lot of traction, not just in the Power Ranger community, but like just in Hollywood in general. Variety reported on this, Deadline reported on this, Hollywood Reporter reported on this. I mean, Austin St. John was definitely in the news. We're not used to him making international news, it feels like, but he certainly has this time around. And so, listen, before we get into this topic, man, to talk a little bit about Austin St. John, I just want to say before I tackle this, I'll certainly try and be as respectful as I absolutely can. As this kind of gets a little bit serious, man. This kind of gets a little bit serious, and we'll see how this turns out. But I definitely want to be fair. But I also want to be respectful as I possibly can before diving into this. But this past week, ladies and gentlemen, Austin St. John was in fact arrested, according to Deadline.com. Mighty Morphin Power Ranger star Austin St. John arrested for government pandemic loan fraud. He's gotten in trouble for for some sort of fraudulency. The United States Attorney Office, the Eastern District of Texas, did go ahead and put out a press release saying 18 people in general arrested, charged in East Texas for Paycheck Protection Program related fraud. This is from the Department of Justice in Texas, just giving Texas a further damn bad name, if you ask me. Yeah, Austin St. John wound up getting arrested this week. But since then, he has in fact returned home. Austin St. John this past week also did do a live stream, which I was attending or at least watched during his live stream, to kind of set the record straight for some people, or at least give his sort of side of the story as much as he possibly could. He apparently still went to Collecticon, I believe, a convention out here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this past week as well. Didn't get the opportunity to see him, but I do believe he's at a convention this week. But he apparently was home, I'm assuming, when he gave this live stream to let everybody know, according to him, he put in a plea of not guilty, is what he wind up saying. He fully believes that he's not guilty. He's not going to get into details according to his live stream, because it is in fact in under investigation. It is a court case, so he probably can't say too much, to certainly say the least. But he definitely certainly pushes his own side of the story, if that's the case. But let's get into the nitty gritty so you can understand exactly what it is that Austin St. John is definitely being accused of. And I also would like to state here and now, innocent until proven guilty. I know in society that we live in today, it's ass backwards, but by law, you are innocent until proven guilty. So we'll definitely go ahead and let the courts certainly do their part in determining the fate of Austin St. John. So let's go ahead and dive into this article. This is actually from the Deadline.com. I'll give you what they're letting us know, and then I'll read you the press release from the Department of Justice. So let's go ahead and pull this up. This is from Deadline, saying that he was arrested for government pandemic loan fraud. It says, instead of it's morphing time, an actor on the TV show Mighty Morphin Power Rangers may be doing time. Damn, Deadline. That's how you come at him first sentence. It says Austin St. John, who played the Red Ranger on the show, which aired from 93 to 95, has been charged with others in a scheme to defraud the U.S. government of CARES Act fund. The Department of Justice alleges St. John was one of 18 charged with filing fraudulent applications for loans from the Paycheck Protection Program. They then allegedly transferred the money to the scheme's ringleaders. Austin St. John, whose real name is Jason Geiger. This guy's got multiple last names. I had no idea his real name was Jason Geiger. Allegedly obtained more than $400,000 in fraudulent PPP loans. He faces a potential sentence of up to 20 years, according to the Department of Justice. And the Justice Department named Michael Hill and Andrew Moran as the alleged leaders of the scheme. They say Hill is alleged to have recruited co-conspirators, that's where Austin St. John would fit, to use an existing business or create a business to submit applications to obtain funding. Once enlisted, Moran, the other ringleader, is alleged to have assisted his co-conspirators with the application paperwork, including fabricating, supporting documentation, and submitting the application through online portals. Combined, all 18 people combined in this, they said they have allegedly obtained from the government about $3.5 million. $3.5 million. In the statement, St. John's lawyer said he pleaded not guilty. He says an indictment is not evidence of guilt, and he's absolutely true. It is certainly not. All defendants are presumed innocent, and Mr. St. John intends to vigorously defend himself against this allegation. So that's what Deadline is, in fact, reporting, stating that Austin St. John himself made more than $400,000 in fraudulent loans, and that apparently Michael Hill and Andrew Moran, the apparent ringleaders here, came up with the plan to create existing business or create a business and submit applications, and Moran helped them fill out the applications and fabricating false paperwork to acquire the funds. When I go over to the actual Department of Defense, this is the 18 arrested charged in East Texas Paycheck Protection, excuse me. It says each charges the defendants with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and they have a bunch of people's names up here. Jason Lawrence Geiger, aka Austin St. John, aka Red Power Ranger 47 of McKinney. I didn't even realize he lived in McKinney. All these people live pretty close by. Louisville is where I literally just moved from. Andrew Moran, Frisco, I've been there a few times. Dallas, Allen, Texas, Carrollton, Richardson. I mean, all these are like right near me, guys. It says, according to the indictment, the defendants, Michael Hill and Andrew Moran, are allegedly to have executed a scheme to defraud lenders. Hill is alleged to have recruited co-conspirators. We already kind of went through that already. So yeah, and yeah, this says each defendant can face up to 20 years in federal prison. So look, guys, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say somebody is guilty before they do anything, but he is in a lot of hot water here. He is in a lot of hot water here. I am kind of curious if the fact that he was able to be home and not in jail, I do wonder if they released him on bond. I wonder if there was a certain bond where, you know, you pay and you can kind of get out, sort of thing. You can't maybe skip the country, but maybe they feel like, you know, Austin's not going to go running off someplace for all I know. I have no idea how that situation turned out for him. But the fact that he was still able to go to a convention lets me know that he will still at least be able to stick around in his vicinity. You know, whether or not he ends up canceling some of his other cons that he might have outside of Texas, that I don't know. But we'll see the direction in which Austin St. John winds up taking here. So it's up in the air. The courts will certainly go ahead and decide whether he's innocent or guilty. And how do I say this? Look, I've never met the guy in my entire life. I don't know if Austin St. John did this or not. I met Austin St. John back in 2014. We had a great interview with each other. Get an opportunity to talk to him, I think all the way back in like Alamo City Comic-Con. Seemed like a great guy to me, man. Really easy to talk to. He had a blast finally coming back. Jason back in action, sort of thing, right? Coming back to Power Rangers after so many years. Really great guy, from what I met from my own first impressions of him. Outside of that, you know, I don't know this guy from anybody else outside the fact that, you know, he went overseas. You know, he helped out in Iraq as a, you know, as a medic, did some really heroic things over there, really brave things over there, and helped a lot of people. And he helped a lot of people also as a Power Ranger. I'm sure there are plenty of Power Ranger fans out there that look up to Austin St. John, really enjoy his character. Maybe Jason as a character, or maybe Austin helped you at some point in time in your life, sort of thing. I certainly have no idea. I've never met the guy whatsoever. But based off of what he's done in his life and what he's achieved in his life, it's very understandable if Austin St. John has a ton of support behind him, and a lot of people putting their belief in him. There are definitely a lot of people that I see out there that, are already leading the charge of Austin St. John, saying he said he's not guilty. He's not guilty. See, guys, he's innocent. He didn't do it. And listen, I get it. I get it. But that has not been determined. One person's side of the story, regardless of what you think of them, does not tell the entire story to everything. Could he walk out of this innocent? Absolutely. Absolutely. He could absolutely be telling the truth. But I'm just trying to prepare and just let people know that just because some person says that they're innocent and not guilty doesn't necessarily mean that they are. There are plenty of people that go to jail, get indicted and arrested and stand before a judge, and people that have committed some atrocities in their lives have all stated, I'm not guilty, judge. I'm not guilty. Okay. So just because Austin St. John says he's not, it's not his decision. It unfortunately is the courts. And I hope he's got some great lawyers. I hope he's got a ton of evidence to show that he didn't do this. I am just as much as the next person that wants to see Austin St. John. I hope you can dodge this, bruh. Like, I hope that this is not legit. And they've somehow fucked up. But I'm not going to run around and say Austin St. John is innocent and not guilty, because trust me when I say, and I don't know if this is just the cynical mind that I have as I've gotten older, as I'm about to push 40, but trust me when I say that there are plenty of people that I have put my faith in, my trust in, my belief in, that I've looked up to in my life, that have unfortunately let me down. Because at the end of the day, guess what? We're all humans. We're all imperfect. Sometimes we find ourselves in positions in life that we do things we normally wouldn't do. We think we're not going to get caught. We think it's okay. Come to find out, we put ourselves in a really shitty situation and did something we probably should not have. So there are plenty of people in my life that I've looked up to, celebrities, stars, television show hosts, whatever, artists that have impressed me, impacted me, and have unfortunately let me down as well. And so I just don't want people to automatically assume that he's innocent just because he says that he's innocent. If anything, we'll certainly let the courts decide. I hope he can avoid this. I'm under the impression, and again, I don't know anything. I am under the impression that, what does this mean for his standing when it comes to the 30th anniversary? Heck, I don't even know if he's coming back. I don't even know if he decided, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take that invitation from Hasbro and come back from this. Again, the Luminary article says not everybody has accepted the invitation or may not be coming back. I do wonder if Austin is one of those, or if he planned on coming back and maybe now things have certainly changed, because I don't think the Department of Justice is going to let this man fly over to New Zealand to go ahead and do some filming if he is in fact sort of indicted for a criminal charge of this stature. So I do think that this leaves Austin St. John's opportunity to be in this reunion up in the air. But again, we don't even know if he had planned on being a part of this to begin with. So let's see what happens with this court case here. If you want to believe Austin St. John, that's certainly your right and your prerogative to certainly go ahead and do so. I would just warn and caution everybody to immediately start championing somebody as innocent when you don't know all the details to the story, aside of just one man telling you he's not innocent. So, it's just one of those things. When I watched his live stream, it was definitely a case of Austin St. John saying, hey, I'm not innocent. I'm going to fight this to the very bitter end. And, he splits the camp of people, of his supporters, and poison pills. That if you're not a supporter of him, you're just a poison pill that's going out there and spewing garbage and spewing trash. And maybe that's how he views what I'm doing right now. I have no idea. I'm just trying to be honest. And I'm just trying to give you the facts as to how I know it from Austin's mouth, along from the actual Department of Justice, what Deadline is in fact reporting to us. And at the end of the day, I'm personally leaving it up to the courts to certainly decide. I'm not going to have one man look me in the face and tell me he's innocent when there's a lot more to the story to certainly go ahead and explain. I'm just not that gullible, and I'm just not that kid. I know how this works, man. I've seen plenty of these situations happen before, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you, bro. I really do. I hope that he avoids this, because up to 20 years is no joke. I mean, could he get something less than that? Probably. I think maybe 20 years is probably the max, but shit, 20 years. I really hope that this is the case of Austin St. John not knowing what he's gotten himself into. But who knows? You know what I'm saying, bro? Yeah, guys, we'll see what happens in regards to this topic. And I'm sure once we get further details, we'll definitely go ahead and certainly let you guys know. Again, if you are supporting Austin St. John, I have no problem with that. If you're not supporting him, I don't have any problem with that either. I'm just asking people to just step back a little bit and let the bigger picture be told before we start championing people around here, type of thing. So let's see what you guys are saying real quick in the comment section. There's a few of you coming through. Damn it, did I just do that? We got Mikey in the house. What's up, Mikey? I appreciate it. Let's see here. Doomsday says, I hope Jason Scott Lee will eventually be proven innocent. We'll definitely have to see, Doomsday. I don't know exactly when his court case is or when they're going to put him in front of, like, actually have a trial and figure things out, but maybe we'll get some details. DHR2 says, yeah, people will believe the media, know full well he was in on it. He's innocent. His legal team said he was set up and he put the funds on the people he thought he trusted, but did completely dirty. I mean, listen, it's just one of those things. He says, yet people will believe the media, knowing full well he was in on it. He's innocent. His legal team said it was a setup and he put his funds on the people he thought he trusted, but did completely dirty. I mean, I guess it just depends on what camp you believe, does the media unfortunately do have their own motives? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's not like the media is making up this story and coming out with it out of nowhere, right? To throw shade of it. Like, this is an official release from the Department of Justice. The government arrested this man. Will the media spin it in other ways? Absolutely. But the press release from the Department of Justice says exactly what the situation certainly was. Look, his lawyers certainly want to come to his defense. That's certainly more than fine. They're just simply letting us know the charges on which he's been arrested on. If he's been set up, that's great. His lawyers will probably have the evidence to certainly show that. Did he have no idea this was going to happen? Maybe he's got the evidence to show that too. Again, we'll definitely go ahead and do it. But I just don't want to put a spin that the media is building this up to be something that it's not, when it's clearly something. You know what I mean? So regardless of who you want to put your support to, if you want to support Austin St. John, that's certainly fine. But let's just not act like the idea of Austin St. John being completely innocent or having his hands completely clean is the absolute truth to everything. Because the truth is, we just don't know. We just don't know. JV says, Wes says, damn, they all threw DFW. Absolutely, man. This is just bringing terrible shade this way. Terrible shade this way. Mikey says, hey, Adam, most Power Ranger actors are thieves anyway, but innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, I'm sure some people will feel some type of way about the order still when it comes to these fan films, not having gotten the money that that they've put to get these fan films or been paid back sort of thing. So I get where you're coming from, Mikey. I understand. DHRs2 says, still believe he's innocent. Well, hopefully he'll be able to prove it. If he can prove his innocence, then for sure. Let's see here. What else we got? This thing just bounced around on me real quick. Doomsday says you just can't trust anyone nowadays. Sometimes your closest friends could turn out to be your worst enemies. Yeah, sometimes people paint a facade to be something that they're not also. And then when they get caught, look, ASJ, he's got a bunch of fans around the world. I'm a fan of the guy. I love the guy. This is one of my favorite MMPR characters. I love when he came back for Zeo as the Gold Ranger. Like he's literally one of my favorite characters from Zeo, So I love the dude. I've had great experiences from the few times that I have had the opportunity to meet him. So I do hope that this dude is certainly innocent. I'm just not about to sit around here championing him because unfortunately you're right, Doomsday. Sometimes your closest friends could turn out to be your worst enemies. Sometimes people put on facades in order to kind of get what it is that they want. So Rob says PR has become one of the more controversy magnets of late, hasn't it? For some reason, controversy has been hitting a franchise one by one. Yeah, man, it's been kind of crazy. It feels like there's a hiccup or something constantly happening this past year when it comes to Power Rangers. Francois says, just my opinion, but I try not to let situations like this affect my love for Power Rangers. We are people. We're not perfect. We make mistakes, even the most difficult ones. Absolutely, Francois. There's plenty of Power Ranger content out there to certainly love and continue to enjoy. And we certainly shouldn't let moments like this take away our love. Oh, thank you for clarifying, DHR. I wasn't sure what you meant. Sorry about that. So Rob says, honestly, I'm waiting the verdict. Till then, I'm keeping myself off this table. Yeah, and I'm waiting for the verdict also as well. That's why I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys the lay of the land, what the press release, what he was actually arrested for, along with some of the comments that ASJ certainly had about himself and what the lawyer said. And you guys do with what you may with that information. Nanditha in the house. What's up, Nanditha? Tarek says, "What is DFW? It's Dallas Fort Worth. It's the acronyms for Dallas Fort Worth." Nanditha says, "I hope the truth comes out no matter what." Absolutely, I do too. And those two ringleaders, man, yeah, put them behind bars. If anything, if this does come to be true and he is in fact innocent, put those two ringleaders behind bars for sure. JB says, what says, I saw that they were upset they used his pick. Yeah, I can't remember what outlet it was that wound up using his pick, if it was like TMZ or some other outlet that was reporting it. I think as the Red Ranger, they had Steve his actual face up there, thinking he was Austin St. John, I believe. Just a bad look. So I can see why Steve absolutely ripped him for sure. All right, guys, with that out of the way, we will go ahead and move over to our next topic. Don't want to go ahead and sit on terrible Power Ranger news forever. You know what I mean? Especially when we don't know the man's innocence or guilt as of this point in time. But we'll definitely keep you posted. And again, if you do support Austin St. John, feel free to go ahead and give him some support. I just simply would say don't put all your eggs in one basket, just in case. All right, guys, next, more Power Ranger news, and that comes in the form of Power Morphicon. That's going to be here towards the end of August in Pasadena, California. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, please certainly go ahead and do so, as the guest list continues to grow and grow each and every week. And this week, honestly, was probably one of the coolest announcements that we have certainly had in quite some time, as Super Sentai is going to be joining Power Rangers a little bit. They've done this before in the past, maybe one or two former Super Sentai Rangers joining our Power Rangers at Power Morphicon. So it's great to see them continuing that tribute here. And it's going to go ahead and continue again this week, or I should say this year, as we wind up having two new Super Sentai cast members announced, along with another Ranger in particular. And guys, I couldn't be more excited. Ryota Ozawa is the guest of honor at Power Rangers Power Morphicon. Good old Captain Marvelous himself. One of my all-time favorite Super Sentai characters. My first read when it comes to Super Sentai. Gokaiger for me was my very first season of Super Sentai, and Captain Marvelous just left an incredible impression on me, and I've loved every appearance that he certainly has had ever since then. And hopefully a lot more to come as he continues to grow with Super Sentai in this new generation, and really be a focal point and just a big centerpiece for them, certainly going forward. So if you don't have your tickets to Power Morphicon, this guest announcement, the guest of honor alone, is worth admission. So I would highly recommend you guys check it out, as they did go ahead and put up this new poster that, yeah, Ryota Ozawa will in fact be the guest of honor, Captain Marvelous himself. But he's not the only guest from Super Sentai that we're going to be having, as Toshiide Wakamatsu, who in fact played, was it Black Condor, I think, over in Jetman, will in fact be there as well. And talk about perfect timing too, because one, while I personally haven't watched Jetman, I love the Jetman episode in which he was in for Gokaiger. And fun fact for those of you who don't know, when it comes to Don Brothers, the writer of Jetman is actually writing Don Brothers right now. So the fact that Jetman is back in the news, getting this focus, it feels like it's just all come full circle, if you ask me. So some amazing, amazing actors from Super Sentai that have had some amazing impact. Toshiide Wakamatsu is coming back. And then, of course, good old Ryota Ozawa. And he's not the only captain that's going to be joining us. Oh, no, that's right. Good old Andrew Gray is, in fact, going to be in town for Power Morphicon. Guys, how cool is that? How cool is that, that they're going to be gracing us with their presence? Both of these captains will certainly be at Power Morphicon, and I cannot wait. I honestly cannot wait. I don't know if they have a photo op with Ryota and Andrew, but if they don't have a photo op available at Power Morphicon, get on it. Get on it. Because I think you could probably make a ton of money with people wanting to go ahead and get a photo op between these two. So I do hope that there's a couple of times throughout the weekend where they've got some time blocked off for some photo ops with those two. Because if anything, I definitely plan on trying to get a photo. I'm definitely planning on getting a photo with Ryota Ozawa by himself. But if I can get one with him and Andrew Gray together, I'll take that. I'll take that in an absolute heartbeat, if you will. It's not even the case of the what Megaforce turned out to be. I just think it's pretty cool that we get character or actors that played the same character together. I felt that way when Austin St. John came to Power Morphicon and we had the original OG Red Ranger from the Super Sentai counterpart there as well. That was a fantastic moment. So regardless of how I feel about Andrew Gray and the performance of Megaforce, I just think it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get these two together. Why not certainly go ahead and do it? So I think this is a great pickup for Power Morphicon. And talk about, if you weren't hyped already, this should certainly get you there, man. So I'm really, really pumped for this. Doomsday says, Clash of the Pirate Rangers. Yeah, man, I absolutely cannot wait, dude. Like, when they announced this, I'm pretty sure I creamed my pants. I'm pretty sure I had to change my pants. Like, oh, I can't believe he's going to be there. This is the coolest shit I've seen in a long time. So, yeah, man. DHR2 says, I'm glad to see my man from Gokaiger coming to PMC. Doomsday says Ryota Ozawa, aka Captain Marvelous, is about to be put on a show at Power Morphicon. Absolutely. The fans are going to go crazy. Fans are going to go absolute ape shit for this guy. Tarek says, Captain Marvelous, baby. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Let's see. What else are you guys saying? Gabriel says it would be hilarious if Andrew met Captain Marvelous, and some deranged fan said if Andrew to Andrew that he ruined Captain Marvelous's image of Super Megaforce. I hope not. I hope not. I really do hope that the fans behave themselves at Power Morphicon. Let's not be idiots. You know, I don't want to be the reason why we can't have good things because we tend to act a fool and act like a bunch of idiots. Again, it shouldn't matter how Megaforce or Super Megaforce performed. I think we should just be kissing Power Morphicon's ass for even putting this together for us. You know, for spoiling us like this. And instead of ruining somebody's trip to Power Morphicon by busting on their performance or, you know, talking down about Megaforce. Look, conventions, especially when you come together, is all about celebrating. You know, it's all about having a love for a fandom and getting the opportunity to enjoy the things that you love about it and to be around other people that enjoy the fandom and love things about it. And you know, when these artists and stuff come to celebrate with you, you know, it's an opportunity for us to gush about them, to show our love and our appreciation for what it is that they do. You know, we can leave the criticisms and the insults and stuff when we go back home or when we do our YouTube stuff or, you know, hop onto social media or whatever the case may be, you know. But when you go to a convention, it should be all about love, support, and celebrating. And that's the one thing that I love about going to conventions instead of having to worry about people picking fights or asking dumbass questions to people about what was your series so shitty. You know, like let's just have some class and respect for these people regardless of how you feel about the performances or a particular season. You don't got to lie about it, but you also don't got to tell the truth in regards to how horrible you thought it was. Sometimes the idea of keeping your mouth shut and just not saying anything is the best thing that you can do, and just be happy that these people are gracing us with their presence enough to take time out of their week, out of their day to come from overseas in order to kind of see us. And if we get moments like this, just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy it. So I hope there's no idiot fan that's gonna ruin this moment for these people. They're here to be celebrated and to celebrate this fandom with us, and that's exactly what we should do with them. Tarek says, I watched Jetman a long time ago and it was really cool. Tarek says, I remember when someone called out Andrew Gray and Alex Harmon for being the worst Rangers during, but like, why? Like, why do people have to do that though? Instead of just to be an asshole? Like, I would have been like, bro, get out of here. We'll refund you your money. Just don't come back. Like, I would have escorted the dude out. I mean, listen, nothing wrong with freedom of speech and certainly say what you want to, but that's just time for someplace else. You know what I mean? Ooh, Enrique, I did not know this. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Enrique says Andrew Gray and Ryota reunited at last USA Super. Oh, reunited at last. Okay, Super Mega Force and Super Sentai Space Captain. Let's make it showy. I hope that there's a panel, man. I hope there's a panel of these two sitting down and talking a little bit more. But that's the panel that somebody would ask, Andrew, were you dissatisfied with your terrible performance? And like, come on, guys. How much are tickets? That's a good question, JB. I'll have to go back and check. Tarek says, yeah, the PMC didn't even kick the guy out who said that. He was still at all the other panels after, was also rude to the Pink Ranger panel. Yeah, when you've got like a habitual asshole at a convention, yeah, get this man out. Give him his money back. Ask him, don't come back. We're trying to celebrate. We ain't trying to be assholes to these people, man. You know, that's just so disrespectful, bro. So disrespectful. Datilla said $350. I don't think. What type of ticket did she get for Power Morphicon? Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. Power Morphicon. Let's see if they even have tickets left. Event memberships. Oh, nope, that's not it. Wait, is that it? Oh, their Power Morphicon looks completely different. Holy shit, they went retro with this design. Let's see here. Oh, there is registration here for press. Can I fill it out now? Dude, where's the tickets? Okay, all event advanced tickets. Okay. Memberships. I'm looking this up for you right now, JB. Oh God, she wasn't joking. Okay. A platinum membership for all 3 days is $2,000. Gold memberships, VIP Gold Ranger full weekend 300, non-attending Gold Ranger VIP 325, a VIP Gold Ranger not attending international 350. Red members full weekend membership $75. So if you go as Red Ranger membership $75, full weekend. If you're not attending 100, if you're not attending internationally 150. Blue Ranger Saturday only $45. So they definitely have various. Yellow Ranger Sunday only. Blue Ranger Saturday only. Red Ranger full weekend. So it looks like the cheapest for the full weekend is the Red membership for $75. You get a full weekend pass, Power Morphicon badge and lanyard, early registration pickup the day before, 3 mystery pens, a convention coin, full weekend convention print, and a convention. Oh yeah, convention print, Power Morphicon gift bag, and the ability to buy Power Morphicon exclusives with an extra charge, limited quantity. So if you don't feel like spending $300 something, the best route looks like it's definitely the Red Ranger $75 that's for the full weekend attendance. So that's not bad, man. And you do get early access, I think, by 1 day. But after that, yeah, the Gold Ranger stuff is $300. Fuck that, no way. But if you don't want to spend that much as a Red Ranger Gold membership, also Red Ranger 2 VIP Gold membership upgrade, $225. So you definitely do get a bunch of other stuff also. So hopefully that helps clarify some stuff for you. Power Morphicon this year is set for August 26th through the 29th. Is that what it says? Let me just double check. This is the 26th through the 28th. Let me see. That's August. So August 26th is the Friday. Yeah, I'm assuming 26th through the 28th. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then early doors open on the 25th. Dino Knights, fight for your rights. But yeah, guys, go ahead and certainly let me know. He says, "Let me do that press thing then." Yeah, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try and see if I can apply for. I'm gonna see if I can try and apply for a press pass. It says registration. If you go to the registration bar, attendees, vendors, press, media. I tried to do that last time. See, it doesn't even have it up there yet. It says press, media, application coming soon. Like it doesn't even have a place for you to fill it out yet. That's what happened to me last time. One of the Power Morphicons I tried to go to early, they wind up actually not having it available, the application, like 2 weeks prior. And I didn't even know if I was going to get accepted. I still had to get my plane tickets and stuff, right? And so I was really dependent on that approval or not. So it is one of those things. I might just get me a ticket and just go regardless if I'm considered press and still just bring all my equipment with me anyway. I might just do that. But I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm definitely going to be spending some money, and I definitely hope that they have themselves a great combo, a panel maybe of those two, and at least maybe a photo op. You got to give it to us, Power Morphicon. You got to make it work. So we'll see what happens. But guys, let me go ahead and let know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. And last two topics before we get into your guys' live viewer questions, we're going to go ahead and transition a little bit over to some tokusatsu news. This story will be a little bit brief, but we're going to jump into the Shin universe that we've been talking about quite often as of late. We've got a lot of big movies that are certainly set to go ahead and release in this universe. We've already been released Shin Godzilla a couple of years ago, which again, I highly recommend if you're looking for a modern day Godzilla take. It's a fantastic film. They're continuing along with building this universe, as just recently, good old Shin Ultraman was in fact released in theaters over in Japan. It's something that we've been highly anticipating since last year. Shin Ultraman was set to go ahead and actually drop, but due to the pandemic, they went ahead and pushed this movie back another year, and it finally has in fact dropped. And it's been performing rather well over in Japan, even outperforming, according to this article, Shin Godzilla's 3-day opening weekend. So let's go ahead and dive into this article here as Shin Ultraman continues to perform at the box office out there. Let's read up a little bit on this. This is, again, from the Tokusatsu Network. The newly released Shin Ultraman has outdone Shin Godzilla's 3-day opening at box offices in Japan. Following the much anticipation, Shinji Higuchi's Shin Ultraman released across 401 Japanese theaters on Friday, May 13th. In just 3 days, the film has outdone all previous theatrical released Ultraman films at the box office and is currently outperforming Shin Godzilla from 2016. Shin Ultraman has collected 993,410,050 yen across a certain amount of tickets sold from Friday to Sunday. I think in comparison, I think that's equivalent to like $7 million if I did my transition correctly from yen to American dollars. Somebody convert that for me. 993,410,050 yen. I believe the conversion I did yesterday was like a little over 7 million. Again, that's 993,410,050 yen. Comparatively, Shin Godzilla came approximately 825 million yen within its first 3 days. So it definitely says, in addition, Shin Ultraman is currently the highest grossing live action film from Japan in 2022 right now. So it's highest grossing box office. It says whether or not this current success or box office trends from Shin Godzilla will translate into a strong attendance for the following weeks is yet to be seen. Shin Ultraman is currently shown in theaters nationwide across Japan. There have been no announced plans for an international release yet, which is a little bit of a bummer. I really wish that they had like some international releases in here, even if it's just a limited release. I'm pretty sure I would be able to find a theater out here in the DFW area that might be showing it if they were to do that. I just hope it performs so incredibly well that they think to themselves, yeah, maybe we should try and release this internationally in limited run and see how well it certainly does. I would certainly go ahead and check it out for myself. Based off of all the trailers that I've seen, the movie looks ridiculously good. It looks incredible from what I've seen, and I'm excited to kind of see how this Shin universe in general will in fact be built. So great start, man. Great start to Shin Ultraman. You know, I want to go, let me see. Shin Ultraman box office. I want to see if I can get a better. Right now, it's at $15 million. I'm assuming that's equivalent to what we're doing. Yeah, that looks like that's American dollars. So as of right now, it's doing pretty good. So $15 million right now at the box office, about to push $16 million US. So yeah, man, it's doing pretty good, guys. But let me know your levels of anticipation. Is this a movie that you guys are even interested in seeing? I know we've highlighted some of the trailers over the past several weeks as we gotten closer to this movie dropping. It's finally here in Japan, and hopefully that momentum will certainly carry it to big numbers, certainly going forward. I do wish that they wind up putting this in the US though. I definitely think so too, Frankie. They definitely should. All right, guys. With that out of the way, we will go ahead and transition over to our last topic, and that is, in fact, more Ultraman Decker, guys. Deckerman, Ultraman Decker is going to be here before we know it. It winds up the new season of Ultraman winds up dropping this upcoming July. I'm assuming, if anything, it certainly will be simulcast, like the other couple of seasons of Ultraman have certainly done so before over on YouTube. But we've got ourselves yet another cast member and character to dive into. And this looks like yet another Gut Select team member. And I am kind of curious to see who she is and what her role is going to be this season. So let's go ahead and dive into this new information from Ultraman Decker. This comes to us once again from Tokusatsu Network, who continues to do a fantastic job of all your Tokusatsu news and information. It says, Sei Miyazawa cast in Ultraman Decker. It says Sei Miyazawa is joining the cast as Sawa Kaizaki. Okay, Sawa Kaizaki. I like the name. A vice captain of the newly reformed Gut Select and operator of the Nurse Desi. Miyazawa has previously acted in Ultraman Saga as Sawa. Interesting. What? So she's played this character before? I'm confused. Miyazawa is joining the cast of Ultraman Decker as Sawa Kaizaki, vice captain of the newly reformed Gut Select and the operator of the Nurse Desi. First off, I cannot wait to see the Nurse Desi. If so much time has passed since the last time we've seen the Nurse Desi, I do wonder if it's got a new form to it in regards to what the ship looks like, and if it's got a new power set too. I'm interested. It does say that Miyazawa has previously acted in Ultraman Saga as Sawa, so she's been in this before. Sawa Kaizaki, a 29-year-old, is a dependable sister-like figure to the rest of the Gut Select team. She is a leading authority on monsters, holding a doctorate in biology. It feels like she kind of takes that role of maybe what Merlu used to have, along with what was the actual like operator of the Nurse Desi, like the pilot. And I wonder if she's juggling those two jobs for her own. And that's interesting. She says, "I'm Sai Miyazawa. This time this time playing the role of Sawa Kaizaki. I'm honored to return to the Ultraman series as vice captain after 10 years away." Okay, so yeah, she recognizes that she has done this before. "With the support of my 3 young teammates, my dependable seniors, and all the extremely wonderful crew, I'm really enjoying my part in filming this series." This is what she said. "I will fully commit my role to be a cool vice captain viewers want to support and gives them the confidence and trust to believe in Guts Select. So I hope you'll support Ultraman Decker to the end." Well, I will say this: the captain of the Nurse Desi last time of Gut Select did have that same sort of mentality, the confidence and the trust, that I knew that whenever this man gave his orders, not only was his entire team going to listen, but there was always a possibility of pulling out a victory. And I think that really does certainly go a long way. So hopefully Sawa here, or Sai Miyazawa as Sawa, could certainly bring that same level of energy and her own uniqueness to the series. So Ultraman Decker does premiere July 9th, guys. July 9th. Is when this certainly will happen. And we've got ourselves a brand new captain to enjoy. As we got Sawa right here as, it says a vice captain. So I'm assuming there's an actual captain attached to it as well. But I'm looking forward to this series as always. Not something that we'll probably be reviewing when it comes to A+ Hero Report, as that will in fact be more of a focus on Power Rangers, but any tokusatsu stuff that I do wind up talking about on A Plus More Phenomenal, again, we will at least finish the Don Brothers stuff for you guys. But anything else outside of that, tokusatsu wise, I may just kind of do Twitter threads, maybe Twitter spaces to kind of give my thoughts on Ultraman Decker kind of going forward. So follow us definitely on social media too if you're not subscribed to us on A Plus Hero Report as of right now. Um, Gabriel says, "Did you say shit, Ultraman?" No, I said shin, as in like your shin bone on your leg. Shin Ultraman, right up here at the top. So, yeah, man, just so we we're on the same page, Gabriel. Michael says, what do you like more, Don Brothers or Ultraman Trigger? Ooh, boy. All right, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I love both series. I'm going to give the slight edge right now, at least right now, to Ultraman Trigger. And I say that simply because the fact it's kind of an unfair comparison, just because for me, Ultraman Trigger was my first introduction to Ultraman. So there was a little bit of excitement on my part to really dive into the franchise. And I think even for me, Trigger surpassed my expectations as a first time viewer. There were so many really great little tiny things that they did here and there that really put it over the top for me. Some really great supporting characters and system, and fantastic villains and storyline. Sometimes it could be a little bit too cringy and kind of hokey, but there was something really enjoyable and heartfelt about Trigger that truly won me over. And Don Brothers is just a completely different beast in and of itself. It's been incredible. It's floored me. I've been so happy with Don Brothers. I truly have been. But there's just something special and unique about Ultraman Trigger. And I think again, because it's my first Trigger, my first Ultraman series, it might be a little bit biased in that regards, Michael. But I love them both. Tarek says, "Are you gonna miss us after next week's actual last episode of More Phenomenal? We are your children." I mean, look, I'm sure plenty of us will certainly stay in contact, whether that be on YouTube at Hero Report, whether that be our Discord forum community that some of you guys are a part of, whether that be over on Twitter. I definitely will be still around. I'm not dying. I'm not going to be invisible or taking a trip to space and never coming back. There definitely is going to be ways to continue to hear my thoughts, my opinions, and just kind of shoot the shit with you guys, and certainly just talk about everyday situations and stuff. But yeah, I definitely will certainly miss you guys in this format. I definitely have had some talks with the girlfriend since I've made my announcement of wrapping up A Plus More Phenomenal, that the closer I get to it, the more bittersweet that it is, just because you know I, I know the power of this channel. I see the growth in it. I see the lane that we're in, and just kind of what we've created out of the past 10 years. I don't know if we have new Power Ranger content creators that grew up watching me as a kid, and maybe I inspired them to do this stuff. I don't really know, but I feel like, oh, we have a place in Power Ranger nation, um that I'm really going to miss being a part of, in that sense. I mean, I'm still going to be a part of the community for sure. I just felt like A Plus More Phenomenal was really shaping up to be something, or the potential of what it could be. But it's things happen for a reason, man. Life changes, opportunities come and go. Um, you know, my life has just drastically changed over the past year, to where, as bittersweet as it is, as much as I would love to see this channel grow, sacrifices, you know what I mean? And So, and that's one of the reasons why I say this all the time. Like, while I love Power Rangers, Power Rangers isn't necessarily my number one fandom. It's like my number four fandom. Like, I'm a big fan of Star Wars. That's probably my number one. It's probably closely followed by Marvel. And then you could probably flip and flop Power Rangers in DC at any particular point in time. And I really want to be able to focus on the things that I truly, truly love and am passionate about. And I think while I still love Power Rangers and I'm a big fan of the series, and I'm definitely excited for what Hasbro wants to do, some condensing, some consolidating in my life, focusing on one particular goal instead of stretching myself thin between two different channels, focusing on one channel to create content for and be able to juggle all my passions and fandoms just kind of works out for me that way. And it does free up some time, not only for my own mental health, but also for my own family time, spend time with my boy and my girlfriend, and really enjoy life as best as I possibly can. So definitely bittersweet, but it's not the end. It just means our focus has changed to something else, and now it's our time to build that into the powerhouse that we kind of hope A plus more phenomenal was certainly about to get to. And I think it's more than possible. I think it's more than possible, guys, for sure. Will I be changing the name of Hero Report or keeping it as it is? No, I'm going to keep it as Hero Report. Power Rangers are heroes at the end of the day. They fit extremely well into the comic book superhero fantasy kind of genre, right? So I don't feel a need to go ahead and change the name of Hero Report. I think when you hear the name Hero Report, similar to More Phenomenal, I think you get an idea of what it is that we talk about and discuss. And so I think that's off to a good start. And so Power Rangers definitely belongs with the other heroes to be recognized. And that's what I definitely want to do. Want to make sure that Power Rangers gets as much love as the other fandoms as well. So let's go ahead and move on to your live viewer questions, guys. Live viewer questions. We got a plethora of them to go through. So we'll probably push until about 3 o'clock or so, see how many we can get through. And then again, remember, next week will be the last episode of A Plus More Phenomenal, and that will be devoted to simply news and live viewer questions. It's going to be an episode all about you guys, well deserved as well. So let's go ahead and get into this again. We're going back, guys. We're going back. Power Rangers Legacy. This is what, from May 12th? Damn, like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe. Let's see here. Doomsday does say, I never thought that this channel would end up leaving. Yeah, me either, man. Me either. But listen, I will say this. When we started doing Power Rangers, we didn't have More Phenomenal when we started. When we started, we were A Plus Opinions back in 2012. And we juggled Marvel, DC, Power Rangers all under one banner. And within maybe about, I don't know, a 7 to 8 year growth, we hit 16,000 subscribers. So there is a world out there where Adam can have one sole YouTube channel and still juggle Power Rangers, Marvel, and DC. So we've proven it's done before with 16,000 subscribers. And the only reason why we started A Plus More Phenomenal was because we got into some copyright issues and got our channel terminated. So we thought at the time, let's just split up the fandoms, Power Rangers and the rest of the stuff we'll talk about separately. And it worked out. It really did work out. But again, life changes, throws you a curveball, and you gotta adjust. You gotta adjust. Power Rangers Legacy says, "Hey Adam, hope you're doing good. I haven't sent a question in since February, which is crazy. With the show already on its 10th episode, again, this was back in May 12th. And the episode focusing on both Izzy and Ion. If you can look back, what was your excitement when Izzy and Javi were both introduced as our new pair of Rangers, with them being step siblings, and of course the amazing and historic debut of Tessa Rao as our first female Ranger in the series, and then later with Jordan Fight." First impressions What was your excitement with Izzy and Hobby? I love the idea of having a brother and sister combination. There was really something fantastic in that episode 4 where we get introduced to them and their powers. When I love the idea of not only their fighting styles, but also seeing them fight sort of back to back. There's definitely plenty of Garcia siblings that I want to see more of fighting like that, in the sense that they have just great chemistry, that they can read each other really well and pull off some great sort of combo attacks. I really would like to see that focused on a little bit more, certainly going forward. But I do love the idea of a sibling connection on Power Rangers. It's been really great this season, and they do feel like brothers and sisters to me. Just the way that they perform and act with one another when it comes to Tessa and Chance. It's just a really great chemistry that those two wind up having in there, and I'm a big fan of the Garcia siblings. Brandon Anderson, what are some of your Ranger plot holes and rumored storyline explanations or inconsistencies? I don't know. That's a hard one for me, man. What are some of your Power Ranger plot holes and rumored storyline explanations or inconsistencies? You do have a second part to that. You say in Super Sentai, what monsters and main villain would you like to see be created? Oh, using powers and parts from past series to make a hybrid villain. I would love to see Bosco and give me Bosco's power set along with the villain from Go Busters. Um just the idea of like Bosco getting a power upgrade. Like, not only can he be that powerful as he was, but then imagine giving him the abilities of also being able to like digitally transmit himself as like a virus, and deal with that also. I would love to kind of see a weird hybrid between those two. For some reason, when I think of like if I had to come up with like a costume design for Bosco and the villain for Go Busters, I don't know why I think of like an Ecliptor design. Like, I would love to see Bosco like in all black like that, but with the idea of like a digital theme or something like that attached to the design of his all black Bosco. So whether that be green lines like the fucking Matrix or like a Cliptor, I would love to see a digital version of a Bosco villain. I think that would be pretty sweet, honestly. Let's see here. Who else we got? Miles, the man 19. What are some of the biggest missed opportunities in Power Rangers history? Oh, legendary fail by far. Also, Shelby and Calvin kissing. Excuse me, Haley. Was it Haley and Calvin kissing in Ninja Steel? Terrible, really missed opportunity because they were having their struggles in the show, weren't they? Haley and Calvin. I think the last half of that season, those two characters were kind of struggling. So, like for me, I thought the idea of them making up and actually delivering on a kiss would have been a really proper send off for their storyline. And unfortunately, it was cut last minute, but it extremely missed a big missed opportunity there. And then, of course, the legendary fail that we all know, the idea of bringing back all these characters. I don't even think we got a lick of original fight footage with them back. Maybe one scene, but I almost doubt it. I think the original footage was them literally walking into the camera, taking their helmets off, saying a line if they got a line, and then ciao and putting the helmets on and just leaving. Talk about missed opportunities, bro. What creeped you out when you watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, even the movie? I don't think Power Rangers ever creeped me out. Even though I watched it as a kid, uh, I wasn't like a little kid where like the monster designs or anything like that kind of creeped me out. So yeah, Power Rangers has actually never creeped me out. If there was anything that maybe creeped me out, just design wise, I was never a fan of the fucking birds from that we got from the movie and then made their way into the television show. I can never remember their damn names. I try and forget them all the time. I just wasn't the biggest fan. I will say the Lightning Collection figure of the birds look fantastic though. I will give them that much. Nicole Romerson says, I don't think we will see Ollie and Amelia kiss on the lips if they do actually become a couple. Maybe just on the cheek. Who knows? Yeah, it could be. Could be on the cheek. I can see that. And Johnny, do you think we could see an animated Power Ranger movie in the vein and style of Across the Spider-Verse, Beyond the Spider-Verse? You know, I will be interested to kind of see what the hold up. Power Rangers animated styles. I am really fascinated to kind of see what the animation style of this is certainly gonna look like. There's a guy that I follow over on Instagram, Dom Steph, I think his name is. Let me see. Can I find him on Instagram? Let me see. Dom Steph? Yeah, Dom Stephanie, Dome Stefani. I believe that. Let me see if I can pull this up here. If you guys haven't seen the artwork of Dominic Estefan, he does some amazing work when it comes to the animation style. This is like his Zeo stuff that he's got. He's also got a couple of things here for Zeo 2. I've really kind of fallen in love with his particular art style. I can easily see this being like a live action animation instead of anything comic book wise. Um, to the point to where he's created so much. Oh, I always love this one, Teenagers with Attitude. I've always loved his animation so much. He constantly puts new animation up all the time, and it's not just Power Ranger stuff either. But I mean, just look at this. It is one of those things where, you know, if Hasbro isn't paying attention to some great artists out there, I definitely hope that they're paying attention to this guy. Because I do think he's got some incredible artwork. If you ask me, even does some Beetleborgs and things like that as well. I would love to kind of see this type of animation maybe brought to life. I feel like we've probably have seen this a few times, but this is the gentleman or the person that's done this artwork for such a long time. I remember, you know, Joe from the Illuminati mentioning like, "Hey guys, if you are interested in getting a glimpse or a peek as to um, Power Ranger animation, potentially what it could be." He used to say there are hints that you can find it on Twitter, that it's deep in Twitter that you might be able to find something. And I've always wondered if it was Dominic here that he was certainly referring to. It could be not, but I've always been hella impressed with his the art style and the way that it looks. And I think action wise, I think it's captivating. I truly do. I think they could do something really great with it. So I'm hoping Hasbro's paying attention, man, to Dominique. Or if anything, I'm wondering if Dominique's already been hired and they've been working on something behind the scenes. I am kind of curious as to, you know, Netflix, especially with the down trajectory they've kind of been in this year so far. I do wonder if they still have plans on doing anything animated, because I believe they mentioned the idea that they were either shutting down their animation division or cutting back on it. I don't know if that's going to affect Power Rangers going forward, but I certainly hope not. So I don't need it to be the style of Across the Spider-Verse or Beyond the Spider-Verse. If it can come up with its own unique style that really captures Power Rangers and some really great action, I'm on board with it, honestly. Honestly, I think Jen from Time Force was a true villain, because when Wes heard Rancic's backstory and Jen said that Rancic was evil through and through, I think she was wrong and she was evil through and through. What do you think, Adam? No. Just because somebody has a difference of an opinion, you know, I you think you have to take a step back and also realize the stuff that Jen experienced at the hands of Rancic. Didn't Rancic kill her husband or her potential man? I'm pretty sure that means, you know, you definitely got a bone to pick with this guy. You feel some type of way, right? So you say honestly, I think Jen was the true villain because when Wes heard Rancic's backstory and Jen said that Rancic was evil through and through, I think she was wrong. I mean, she could be wrong, but just because she's wrong doesn't mean that she's evil through and through. I mean, that's just like a real big jump. I don't think Jen has ever showed the idea of her being evil through and through the entirety of the series like that. So just because of the fact that she felt some type of way about Rancic, I think you have to understand the mindset in which Jen is in and why she feels that way and holds those sort of feelings about Rancic towards that particular character. But just because she doesn't agree or think he's evil through and through doesn't make Jen evil through and through for having a difference of opinion. What Rangers do you want to see return for the 30th anniversary season? Give me Vita from Mystic Force. Give me Lauren from Samurai. Give me I'll even take Devin from Beast Morphers. There's a couple people I would really like to see. There's part of me that wanted to see Rose McIver come back. Was that summer? But I don't think I doubt that she'll be back. There are a couple, man. There are quite a few. I feel like the people that I want to return are probably in that Neo Saban and Disney era. So like Jen would be great, Lauren would be great, Vita would be great. Then give me like Devin and then maybe another male ranger from the Neo Saban era. Andrew, what's up, Andrew? Would you be okay with the Power Rangers and Super Sentai crossover? Absolutely. I don't mean whether or not it'll happen, just if you would be interested in the idea. I'd personally be all for it, but there'd be a handful of things to work out, like how to differentiate the Rangers, what teams to use, should the Sentai Rangers be using the morphing grid, etc. Even how the two teams would even communicate with each other, considering the language barrier. Oh, interesting. Language barrier, I think, could be easily um, dealt with. They're wearing helmets. They deal with aliens all the time. I got to assume that there's an alien translator or some sort of language translator in their helmet. So when whoever speaks to them, I'm hoping probably speaks back to them in whatever language they understand. I would assume that the helmets are sophisticated enough to be able to have an auto translate like that. But I would love it, honestly. I think the closest that we got was Yoshi Sudarso in a Ninja episode where he interacted with Ninja Blue, which just so happened to, when it was adapted, be his brother, Peter Sudarso, as the blue Ninja Steel Ranger. So looking in hindsight to Super Sentai, it's kind of like they have done a crossover a little bit. But overall, in the bigger scheme, yeah, I would love to see it done. I think they can probably work around it, though. Um, this is from AJ. Again, this is focusing on episode 10. I thought it was really, really fun and enjoyable. While it was somewhat of a filler, it did give us great interaction and heavy focus on Izzy and Ion. So happy we got an episode with two of our first in Power Ranger history. The Rangers caught in the middle of an argument. Just watching the two was nice touch. Ion and Izzy finding a suitcase of cash was really cool. Even the alien dog collar, which was a great plot device. Did you catch the part with the two finding the sign of Area 62? I think I did. I can't remember, AJ. I love that Ion and Izzy had their differences, and Pop Up was used very well as the voice of wisdom for Ion. I laughed my ass off with Ion's fashion montage, showing that Jordan really does have swag. Felt like a nod to his TikTok videos. It really did, though. It definitely feels like Ion is definitely being, or Jordan is definitely being a lot more of himself as that character, you know? We later got to see the proper introduction of Primal Ultrazord, which was the exact same Megazord that Zato and his original team used before they disappeared during the Ancient Sporks battle. Bonus points: this episode was 95% brand new footage, and we got to see a small but obvious attractions there with Ali and Amelia. Oh, you missed the spot. Oh, thanks, girl. I appreciate that. Oh man, I love those two. Overall, he gives the episode a 9 out of 10. My overall question for you is, what do you think will happen to Tarek when we saw a glimpse of Void Queen in the chamber holding him in the same? Oh, yeah, I think I predicted it already when you asked me that a couple weeks ago. Hey, Adam, I hope you and your family are doing well. I have a couple of questions. What do you think of the title of of Power Rangers? I'm assuming you're saying, what do I think of the title of the Power Rangers movie? As just recently, a couple of weeks ago, was teased that could potentially be the title. You know what? Look, I dig it. I think I dig it. You know, it's not over the top in regards to an extremely long title, you know, or Power Rangers like and in a subtitle. Maybe that certainly could have worked. But you know, I feel like the is being utilized a lot in movies these days. The Suicide Squad, the Batman, the Avengers. It feels very official to me. It feels like a great way to separate different iterations and generations of Power Rangers. Previous side was Power Rangers. Now, this from this point on going forward, the Power Rangers. It feels like we've grown up a little bit with a more official title now. Um, so yeah, I think it makes sense. So I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I'm sure some people probably find it boring, or maybe some people do want a subtitle included into it. And for that, I don't, you know, I'm no pushback there. To each their own. But for me, it works. It works. Night of OA is in the house. What's up, Matt? Good to see you in here, man. He says, I wholeheartedly support more Pop Pop in the second half of season 2. For me, I get the kick out of Pop Pop just popping up anywhere he wants to. I mean, I didn't expect him in episode 10 with Ion and the Izzy episode, and all of a sudden here comes Pop Pop with his John Travolta Saturday Night Live advice, you know. Rocking the gold jacket, um, coming up in here. I didn't expect him in this episode too, and all of a sudden he's like the first person that we have. Um, in regards to the songathon, like okay, like hey, you do your thing, Pop Pop. You know, Pop Pop can do no wrong in my eyes, along with Dr. Arcana. Shout out to Simon Bennett and the writers for just having some amazing supporting characters this year. Like nobody has truly annoyed the hell out of me. Even Jane and Jay Borg win me over in certain aspects, but Pop Pop has been fantastic. Just really warm, wholehearted, just a fun character to certainly have around. Dr. Arcana, extremely intelligent, beautiful. She fights hard for her son and the people she cares about. There's no slouch in Dr. Arcana whatsoever. She's a badass, and she definitely has certainly earned it. And then just even the parents of you know, the Garcias, man, from Izzy's mom to even Warden Garcia growing on me and stuff, despite the pushback we had with him when it comes to how he treated Javi in season 1. I mean, man, they really are fleshing out these characters so well that it's really enjoyable to see him pop up in any way, shape, or form. So I absolutely love it, Night of OA. So I appreciate you coming through, Matt. Thanks for your comments, bro. Let's see here. Ram Jam also says, "Are you gonna watch Shin Kamen Rider?" Absolutely. I don't know when it's gonna be available for here in the States. I don't know if they're gonna be doing an international release for Shin Kamen Rider. I hope that they do. Maybe if Shin Ultraman continues its success at the box office in Japan, maybe it's something that they think about. If not, I definitely will watch it when it's certainly available. I'm fully invested in this Shin universe in general. Again, if you have not watched Shin Godzilla, if you're a big fan of Tokusatsu or just Shin or just Godzilla in general, it's definitely a must watch. What are you going to miss about the A Plus More Phenomenal YouTube channel? Probably the community. Probably the community. I love having our niche little corner here in YouTube to just talk solely just Power Rangers and give it the attention that it certainly deserves. So it's really going to be the community and being able to spend my weekends with you guys, honestly. Like, there are times when there's like no Power Ranger news out there, and it's a little bit of a struggle sometimes to maybe put a show together. But what really always does it for me is once I'm actually live and I get to interact with you guys to start answering questions and really doing some speculating and some discussing and stuff. That's the type of stuff that I really enjoy kind of doing. So yeah, that's probably the aspect of the show that I certainly will miss. But again, we will be moving our Power Ranger thoughts and discussions over to Aplus Hero Report. So again, if you're not subscribed to it, please do so. There is a link in the description box for you guys. Danny Morales has got a couple questions. If you were Lord Zed or Rita Repulsa, how would you beat any Ranger team? Ooh, probably capture their family. Probably capture their family. If there's anything that I've learned from Spider-Man, is that if you're a villain, attack the family. If you know who they love, who they're closest to, find them, capture them, harm them. Maybe don't harm them, but put your Rangers in a predicament where they got to make a choice. They got to make a really difficult choice for sure. Your powers for your parents. Maybe something along those lines. But it would be putting their family and their friends in peril, I think would probably be the first thing that I would probably do. I'm sure the Rangers would probably have a game plan, whether that be 4 or 5 of them pop up to confront me, and they've got maybe 1 or 2 other people um, trying to maybe sneak up and save the family, sort of thing. So I definitely would have to have a secondary plan in mind. Um, hmm. What that secondary plan would be, I don't know off the top of my head right now. But I also would like maybe some mental infiltration into the team, building some levels of distrust among them. Those are seeds that you got to plant very early on in the season, sort of thing, to really push people's buttons, to make them distrust the people that are certainly around them. Also, if anything, maybe have them start doubting the leadership of the Red Ranger themselves, so that when you do get to the point of capturing their family and things are getting really serious, then maybe you've got one of these Rangers who don't necessarily think that their leader is capable of getting them out of this situation. And maybe you just need one. I think you just need one Ranger to kind of break, and then maybe some of the others will kind of fall as well. So that would probably be my approach. I would start early, planting some seeds of distrust. Maybe putting the leader throughout the season in situations where it's really difficult for him and he doesn't succeed all the time, so that the Rangers kind of start questioning him. And then when it does get to a big pivotal moment of our family's been captured, what are we going to do? you know, Maybe have one of those 2 people that are supposed to sneak up on me. Maybe the one of those are the people that doesn't quite believe that their Red Ranger can save the day and make the call. And we get one of those Rangers turn on the other Ranger, maybe save their own family and leave the rest to do as they will, sort of thing. But you got to create some sort of level of distrust and really put them in a dire situation. That's how I would approach it. That would be my approach. So thank you for the question, Danny. I appreciate it. Have you seen the episode of Dino Force where Lord Zed returned? How was it? And would you like to see him in the future again? Yeah, bring on Lord Zed. My biggest worry about Lord Zed was they weren't going to do him justice, especially with the passing of Axelrod. And so the idea that they came back and not only nailed the voice, but made him intimidating, terrifying, powerful, to see him manhandle some of the monsters that he did in that episode and even face off against the Rangers by himself before he had to certainly go ahead and depart. Impactful, much more impactful than I certainly thought. And I never thought I'd be so happy to see Lord Zed again. So I thought they did an amazing job. L'Oreal, all that money in Area 62. Geez, old Julie looks like more than what I get as a substitute teacher. Oh man, never thought I'd see Ion and Izzy argue like this, but I'm glad that they made up. Remember, I said that the Prism Force Flashman were decoys. What if Green Flash made them with the prism from their planet? Interesting. What's the best part of the episode from this week's episode 10 from the last week's episode? My best part of that episode was probably it's probably the Ion and Izzy stuff. I did like seeing these two Rangers clash with each other. The natural competitiveness between those two was really fun, and just seeing their personalities really kind of come out a little bit even more kind of worked for me when it came to the suitcases. So I actually enjoyed that aspect a lot. Doomsday says, when it was said that towards the end of Zenkaiger that Jurin would be a regular in Don Brothers, were you expecting him to actually be physically in the show like Kaido and not just in the Zord mode for Taro? Yeah, I thought he was going to be in the show physically. I thought him and Kaido would certainly be there. The idea of Jurin just popping up to go ahead and form the Zord, it was cool at first when I first saw it, but then I thought I was like, well, there was a part of me that was kind of hoping he would be in there and have like dialogue and work alongside the team, and you would see him when they had them to morph. He'd be like, "All right, I'll be right back, Kaido," or whatever the case may be, and like join in the fight. But it's literally just an attachment. He's literally just pops up as an attachment to Taro for Taro. So a little bit of a bummer because Jurin was one of my favorites. Him and Kaido were definitely my favorites from Zenkaiger. I've been impressed with Kaido so far, but I definitely would have loved to have seen a more physical Jurin in the show. But hey, the show is working perfectly without him, so I can't really complain. Marcelino, hey, Adam, I meant to ask you this last week, but never got around to it. But here's my question. The 2017 Power Ranger movie never became a box office bomb, but instead made great numbers at the box office and made enough money to warrant a sequel. Would Hasbro still have canceled the sequel Saban had planned? I ask this because there have been several occasions where a company has brought a product that was selling successfully, but they still decided to cancel or replace it with their own flavor. So let's go to Box Office Mojo real quick and look at these Power Ranger numbers in the 2017 and 6 Power Rangers 2017. All right. So the budget was $100,000. Oh, excuse me. The budget itself was $100 million. The movie worldwide, unfortunately, just made $142 million. Now, I know when people will look at that budget of $100 million and they'll see the worldwide number of $142 million, they'll automatically say to themselves, hey, the movie made money. It made profit. It made over its budget, right? So clearly this movie made money. Not so much, right? Because we also have to take an account when it comes to budget. That $100 million is just for production. It doesn't include marketing. Usually, when it comes to marketing, I usually will add anywhere between an extra $50 to $100 million. So we're already looking at a budget of about $150 million to maybe possibly $200 million, depending on how much money they actually spent to market the Power Ranger movie. And if you ask me, I felt like they marketed the shit out of this movie too. Some great posters, some great interviews during San Diego Comic-Con. I felt like I saw marketing all over the place. So we're looking at a budget of $150 to $200 million for the movie itself. And then you also have to incorporate the fact that you got to pay your movie theaters too. I can't remember exactly the percentage of whatever the gross that the movie makes that the theaters do in fact get a kickback on. So even though the movie itself made $142 million, that's not all profit. Some of that does have to go to paying the movie theaters as well. So when you look at it overall in the bigger picture, usually when you get a budget of say $100 million, you kind of want to be able to double or triple that, and that's with marketing included, right? So if I'm looking at this at $150 million budget, in order to really make a profit, I'm hoping that this movie probably makes about $300 million. So it unfortunately just did not make the type of money that it certainly needed to. And so that's probably one of the reasons as to why, when it comes to a sequel, it took them forever to certainly make an announcement or even not make an announcement, because they were probably sitting back trying to see exactly how much this movie would make at the end of its run and if it would be enough. I mean, usually the idea is you want to be able to make enough from the first film to not only cover your marketing and paying back your artists and your movie theaters, and then hopefully maybe utilize some of that money to either put towards your sequel or help develop and create other movies that are on your production list, right? So unfortunately, Power Rangers just did not make that type of money, and so that's why we unfortunately just never got a sequel. So that's why. So that's why I don't think Hasbro had any intentions of ever doing a sequel to the Saban movies, because they realized it just was not profitable enough, and it just did not make any sense. If the first one couldn't bring people into the theaters to jump on board that same story and make a sequel, people aren't going to show up to the second one either. So unfortunately, Abase, let's see here. Abase says, don't get this the wrong way, but just a small criticism. I really think you need to stop with, while I enjoyed this episode for what it wasn't like the best episode of the season. I get it. Episodes like this aren't amazing, but still very fun and connects to the story overall. He says, you have been saying this since episode 8 of season 2, which was about 2 weeks ago. It says, as of late, which has been kind of annoying. So I think you need to work on not always wanting every episode to be the best. Ninja Steel was the perfect example at spitting the lesson of the day in your face of Mick, by Mick of all people. At least with Dino Fury, it's not too forced or by the Rangers themselves or even Solon, but someone who is a supporting character like Pop Pop, who is often a comedic character in my perspective. You make all the other episodes that impress not sound great when you say always want the best episode. Huh? In perspective, you make all the other episodes that impress not sound great when you always want the best episode, period. Again, I'm sorry for this comment. Okay, well, I think you're taking my comment out of context. When I say, while I enjoy this episode, certainly for what it wasn't like the best episode of this season. I'm not expecting every episode to certainly be the best episode of the season. I certainly don't have that type of expectation, especially when it comes to Power Rangers of all things. When I make references like that, it is simply just to kind of clarify my stance on the episode. It's an episode that I certainly find rather well, but in the day and age where we live in a world where people pick black and white, good or crappy, best or terrible, sometimes you need something in the middle there. Sometimes it's okay for a show to be okay. Sometimes it's okay for a show or an episode to be good. And so I just simply am trying to clarify myself for some people that like to take some of the things that I say out of context, and just make sure that there's a correction there. So I'm not expecting every episode to certainly be the best. I'm just simply giving my opinion in the sense that, hey, while I enjoyed this episode, I thought this episode was great. Probably not the best episode of the season. I have those reserved for particular episodes that I clearly have pointed out while we've done reviews. So I'm just simply clarifying for people in a sense of how things are ranked for me. I don't consider it the best, but I considered it pretty enjoyable. I certainly enjoy it for what it is, and it's just a way for me to go ahead and personally rank how I feel about this episode compared to the bests of the seasons that we've certainly have gotten so far. So I'm sorry if that annoys you, but I do think that you're taking what I'm saying a little bit out of context, but hopefully that certainly helps you out, Ibase, in that regards. Let's see here. Ionis says, why was there so much merch with the power coins on the chest of Rangers, like the toys, when the Sentai and US costumes never had them, referring to the MMPR shirts that you can order? I well, those are really the symbols, aren't they? of the dinosaurs of that each ranger certainly represents. Visually, it's a stunning power coin to certainly see. And instead of just keeping that symbol and that imagery just to a coin, just to a morpher, it makes sense merchandise wise to make your clothing look that much more appealing to highlight the power coin, especially when that is certainly the theme in the imagery of the dinosaurs that support that particular show. There's plenty of other Power Ranger shirts out there that don't have the coins, that simply just have the actual suit designs on them. But I think they're added to merchandise more than more than you probably would like, simply because of the fact that it is part of the theme. It is what these Rangers represent, and visually, it is something stunning that's good to look at, and it makes the clothing look more appealing. My real question I want to ask, you know how in Beast Morphers, Blaze and Roxy were wasted in season 2? What if maybe Roxy herself, her brain slowly started changing with her season 1 avatar memories? That would be a cool twist if that was ever revisited to the Power Ranger comic books or live action, if Beast Morphers gets a crossover. I think the time of Beast Morphers is probably over. I don't know if they're going to ever go back and do something like that. Interesting what if, though. I definitely wanted to have, I definitely was not the fan of how they handled them. I definitely wish they had utilized them a little bit better. I think they could have handled them better in the second season. But I still love me some Liana Ramirez as Roxy, man. I think she was incredible. Jessica Friedman, would you like to see the cast of the 2017 Power Ranger movie get another chance to make a Power Ranger movie? I would. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But I would love to see Naomi Scott and even Dacre Montgomery. Hell, give me some Ludi Lin. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would love the whole cast. The cast would be great to come back. That's why I'm bummed we never got ourselves a sequel. I definitely felt that they earned it. You go and you look at their careers now, and they're all getting much bigger opportunities. Who knows? Maybe maybe sometime down the road we can get ourselves a big multiversal crossover event, and Dacre Montgomery comes through a portal as a Red Ranger. But I would like to see him come back. Yeah. Joey Thompson, if you were asked by a Power Ranger fan on social media, how would to be a consistent content creator on YouTube, how would you help them, even if they don't have really good internet or a fancy computer and laptop? If you were asked by a Power Ranger fan on social media how to be a consistent content creator on YouTube, how would you help them, even if they don't have really good internet or fancy computer laptop? So you want to be a content creator for Power Rangers, but you may not necessarily have all the things you need. The first step, I would say, get you a good mic. Find you a good mic, and maybe start off podcast form. If you worry about the strength of your computer, if you don't think it could handle video, if it's a little bit slow, I would then say first invest in a good mic. Whether you do podcasting or whether you are going to do video podcasting, invest in a good mic. People need to hear what you have to say. So you want to make sure it's as clear and it sounds as good as you can. And there's some pretty cheap ones that are pretty good. I can't remember how much these are. Audio Technica mics. I think you could probably find you a good quality mic for like $50, honestly. I can't remember how much I paid for this, but I am in the process of investing again in another microphone. But definitely get yourself a good mic to certainly go ahead and start off. And, again, you can do it just all audio as an audio podcast. If you want to go ahead and start off some Power Ranger content creation that way, whether that be on Spotify, whether that be on any other, I don't know what Apple Music, Google Play, or Google Music, whatever the case may be. There's a bunch of places. But yeah, that would be probably my best advice. Do that. Maybe invest in eventually, if you can financially, in a new upgraded internet package. Then maybe find yourself a good camera if you want to go ahead and get in front of it. You can probably find a Logitech camera, a 720, pretty cheaply, probably even a 1080 pretty cheaply these days as well. Maybe not having to fork over too much money. I think I used a Logitech web camera before I invested some money in this Razer camera that I have currently right now that does 1080p. It does full HD at 60 frames per second. I can bump it into HDR mode if I certainly need to as well. I'm still playing around with it. This one does have a wide angle lens if I really wanted to stretch out the screen a little bit more, but I don't have it to that setting as of right now. But yeah, to be a consistent content creator, get yourself a good mic and set up a schedule for yourself. YouTubers tend to like consistency. They like to know that you're going to drop content when you say you're going to drop content. I have been a victim of not always coming through all the time, but if they know the date, the time, and you do that on a regular basis of dropping something or going live with something, that'll definitely get you a nice, faithful fan base that knows that they can certainly rely on you. So those would be my first two tips to starting out. Get you a good mic and make a schedule for yourself of when you like to drop your content. And then once you got that, if you want to go on to bigger and better things, certainly feel free to ask me again, and I'll give you guys some tips that kind of worked for me. Victor Flores, what's up, Victor? With Power Rangers team, which Power Ranger team would you like to battle each other in comic book or animation form? And which comic book that we've had in the past couple years since Shattered Grid do you really like? You know what? Listen, give me Time Force and give me RPM. I really would like to see those two battle each other in comic book or animation form. And then in some way or another, they wind up teaming up, and Time Force, with the time traveling abilities that it has, maybe can work with the RPM Rangers too before things became post-apocalyptic, and they can actually stop the Vengeance situation from certainly happening, and then giving the RPM Rangers a very interesting outlook to their future. Give me a combination of Time Force and RPM. I'll definitely take that. And which comic book that we've had in the past couple of years since Shattered Grid do you really like, underrated, and wish wasn't necessary? Underrated. What did you really like? What did I think was underrated? And what I wish wasn't necessary? The not necessary for me is probably the Lord Draken miniseries that we got. What was that? The Draken miniseries when we saw Ranger Slayer going back into the coinless universe. I think that's where we discovered Jason, right? He was captured by Lord Draken this entire time. We thought he was dead, sort of thing. I didn't really care for that, but I did really enjoy, I think, was that the Power Ranger Universe one shot that we had of the Ranger Slayer? I think those are kind of maybe underrated. The Ranger Slayer one off. Same thing with the Astronema and Ecliptor. I don't know if those are underrated so much as I'm actually a really big fan uh, of those two storylines. I didn't see the Phantom Ranger one, and I have not read the Power Ranger Universe series as of yet that's focusing on the Morphing Masters. So I definitely need to go ahead and check that out. But if I had to erase one, which I wish wasn't necessary, I think they probably could have told that story in another fashion or somewhere else. Probably the Draken miniseries that we wind up getting. But I do really enjoy a lot of the one shots that Power Rangers has had. Kevin Rickardson. Back in the 2017 Power Ranger movie, Rita said that she killed Rangers before. Do you think that she meant that Zordon knew or didn't know there were other Rangers before the 5 teens we all know and love? Would you like to see more of a backstory in Rita and Zordon if we had gotten a sequel? Yeah, I did want to see more of a Rita and Zordon storyline. And I think the idea alone of the opening sequence to the 2017 Power Ranger movie is what made me want to see more. I thought it was a great intro to put us on an alien planet, see past Rangers and what they certainly looked like. So when you say back in the 2017 movie, Rita said that she killed Rangers before, do you think she meant that Zordon knew or didn't know there were other Rangers before the 5 teens. I think she's referring to his team, because didn't she kill his team on that planet? I think she was the traitor at that moment. So I'm under the impression that those are the Rangers that she's referring to, that she's killed Rangers before, in the sense that she killed Zordon's team, that he might have like been the last survivor of that attack. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think we see Rita kill the Yellow Ranger at the beginning of this particular movie. So I think that's who she's referring to, maybe the previous team. But yeah, I would love to see more of them, honestly. I think the comic books have done a great job in opening up Zordon's past too. Carter Matthews, what's up, Carter? He says, "What good aspects and elements from the CW show do you wish Power Rangers would borrow, or even make better?" Probably the interactions, the adult interactions, the young adult interactions. The CW at least does tackle and handle realistic world struggles and a teenage struggles that real teenagers have to deal with on a regular basis. Power Rangers, I feel like, handles teenagers learning life lessons that you learn when you're like 6 years old, whereas the CW, I think, teaches you life lessons that you literally learn in high school and even in college, sort of thing, right? To push you to that next level. People will laugh like, "Oh man, Power Rangers is a CW," but there are aspects to that. There are aspects to that. What do you call it? To the CW shows that I think really could heighten and help Power Rangers grow just a little bit more. Going back to those that had questions about a startup for YouTube content creator, JB says, "What says, um, he says, if you have a smartphone, that's really all you need." And nowadays, yeah, I mean, if you've got a really legit smartphone, there are people that make home movies on that thing these days. There are probably even attachments you can find for your phone if you want to, like microphone attachments. That really does certainly go a long way too. So yeah, that's definitely an option you can use as well. Alexander Rosario, what were some of your favorite morphs in Power Ranger history? Um, Dino Fury's up there. I think I made a top 5 list. For me, it was definitely Dino Fury up there. Samurai was definitely up there for me. I don't necessarily talk about Mystic Force a lot, but I really even enjoyed the Mystic Force a fight sequence also. Those are probably some of my favorite. I don't think those are my top 3 per se, but they're definitely within my top 5. Nicole Robertson, what did you think of episode 11 of Dino Fury compared to the previous episodes? Did it feel like it was a continuation or a different episode? It definitely felt like a continuation to me. You had a lot of connective tissues in there. Um, Void Queen and Void King, we already knew that, Tarek was inside of the chamber. So his progression to Void King felt like a instant continuity. So that certainly worked for me. Blair was back, and we've already know how much of a jerk he was from the first time that we've seen him. So the growth of, seeing Blair back, um, Hobby continuing to enjoy his music, the idea of his father being on board and being super supportive for him feels like a continuation of the approval that he finally gave Hobby a few episodes back. So it doesn't feel like it's a different episode. Maybe how they tackled it, the way that they approached it, maybe, but it definitely had to continue continuity pieces there to certainly keep it together. Which Six Ranger did you like the most in the Neo Saban era compared to the Six Rangers in the Disney and original Saban era? Which Sixth Ranger did I like the most in the Neo Saban era? Probably Nate. just because Beast Morphers was like one of my favorites out of Neo Saban. Um, I'll even give, hold on a second. Why is this guy's fucking name? I'm drawing a blank on this dude. Give me a second. Damn, where are you, bro? Why am I drawing a blank on this dude's name? The fucking Gold Ranger from Samurai. Antonio. There we go. Antonio. I actually didn't mind Antonio as the Gold Ranger. I'll give Antonio some love. JB says, what says Sir Ivan? That's a good one. I actually really enjoyed Kendall too. Those are probably the ones I would pick. Give me Sir Ivan's a good one. Sir Ivan, Kendall, and Antonio outside of Nate. Danny Morales, what's up, Danny? Let me see how many I'll get to 2 more questions here. So I'll hit Danny up, I'll hit Chris, and I'll hit Carlo up, and then I gotta bounce. Danny says, do you think that if we ever got an animated Power Rangers series, it would be really cool? There's so many possibilities you can do an animated series that would be so much more sense than live action. Writers being more creative in storytelling and amazing designs. I love the idea of Power Rangers in animated form. Like, it trips me out when there are people that don't support Power Rangers in animation. I mean, you want to talk about the ability of doing things that you cannot do in live action and getting those big sprawling battles, incredible Zord, Megazord battles, and just really having creativity at your fingertips with nothing really holding you back. I love the idea of Power Rangers in animation. I think we can get some really compelling and fantastic stories certainly being told. Animation these days is just above and beyond anything that we got in like the 80s and 90s. So I'm a big fan of animation in its current form right now. I think they're doing some really, really great things. And I think Power Rangers could easily benefit from it. Chris Crossman also says, do you think Super Sentai and Tokusatsu in general are so good at putting an insane amount of content, whereas Power Rangers, we barely have anything new aside from the current series of Dino Fury and the reboot universe with Hasbro, which there's a new shift in the direction with Jonathan Entwistle possibly no longer being attached to the project. So do you think Super Sentai and Tokusatsu in general are so good at putting in an insane amount of content, whereas Power Rangers barely has anything? Well, listen, a lot of what Power Rangers is doing right now is based off of what Super Sentai can do. I think once we break the habit of depending on Super Sentai, then I'm hoping that Hasbro does get a little bit more creative and starts producing an insane amount of content for Power Rangers. But Power Rangers is very much handcuffed to whatever it is that Super Sentai has done over the past few years. But I think the idea of Hasbro automatically announcing that they've got not only a new series, but new films, new kids programming, new animation, like that's a ton of content certainly headed our way when it comes to Power Rangers, and all of that comes from the idea of original storytelling, not being dependent on Toei and Super Sentai and what they certainly create. So yeah, we got to get into that mindset in that world of creating our own content and not relying on others, and then we'll get to that point being able to create whatever it is that we want. What did you like about Zeo compared to all 3 seasons of MMPR? It just felt like a breath of fresh air to me, even though I knew that we we're still using Super Sentai footage, I think they really took the initiative to flesh out stories more when it comes to the characters, really establishing some of these characters as their own, finally separating us from the past that was MMPR and Zach, Jason, and Trainee. I mean, introducing us to some new characters. Like the fact that we had Zio just felt like this is their series. The series doesn't belong to anybody else. This is this team series, and the way that they wrote it felt very much like that. Like these actors finally had ownership of their characters, and I thought they brought some tremendous storylines. So for me, Zio was definitely a breath of fresh air when it wind up happening. All right. We got a shit ton of questions left. So if anything, I definitely will try and who knows, maybe I'll do another live viewer question video in the middle of the week, maybe. But I definitely will be back next week for A Plus Morphinominal, where hopefully we'll be able to get through a ton more of these. So I would ask, let's not send so many live viewer questions in during the week, but I'll certainly leave that up to you guys. And then next week on our final episode, we'll try and get to as many questions as we possibly can, guys. So thank you very much for everybody's time here. I definitely do need to get going, though, for this afternoon. If you guys want to follow me still, we will be here tomorrow afternoon, Sundays, live at noon Central Time on our other YouTube channel, A Plus Hero Reports. We've got a plethora of news for you guys to certainly talk about in regards to movies, TV, Marvel, DC. Certainly join us then. And if you're not subscribed, there is a link in the description box below. But that'll do it for us here today. And we'll see you guys next Saturday. But in the meantime, as always, guys, do me a big favor. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.